I'm bring Zeus next time.
I know. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. That we always do. But this is Friday. This is what we call Black Conversation. Yes, it is. Now, we say Black Conversation, but you don't matter whether you're black, white, orange, polka dot, or lily stripes. It doesn't matter. You can all be a part of this conversation, and we encourage you to give us a call at 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. We got Daniel, we got ID, we have Charlie. We got quite a few people that's coming in already. So thank you for joining us this morning. We definitely appreciate you being here. We don't take it for granted that you're here. You could be doing anything else, and that you're spending this time with us on the Morning Glow. Greatly appreciated. Sherry, good morning to you as well. Now, I gotta say, I'm not important. I'm just a question asker. My name is Raheem, not important at all, but I got a few people that is important, and one
Good
is sitting.
morning to you as well. Now, I gotta say, I'm not
And one is sitting. Leonard got some fancy stuff going on over there, and one is sitting to my right. This is my daughter, my baby girl. Mary Perry. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning.
Okay, good deal, good deal. That's all she can say, y'all. That's all you can get at this point. But Captain Leonard gonna say just a little bit more. Now watch this. You can get a little bit more out of Captain Leonard. Captain Leonard, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, in the morning, Glow family.
See, that's all we get. Have a great day. Y'all take care of each other. Good night. Leonard, now I know you being you, brother. You looked at what went on last night. I guess it was day 3 of the hearing. What did you gather from the hearing, Leonard?
Hearing is it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot, and unlike I usually would comment that you love to say, when it comes to this, there are many layers.
Yes, sir.
I think
Mm-hmm.
what I liked most is some articles I've read that the Department of Justice has requested all the notes and information and things like that from this committee,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully with the intention on prosecutions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think that we're getting a great look. I want all those people who don't vote, who believe that politics is something that they don't have to be concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at
Yeah.
this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this issue and how important votes are,
Mm-hmm.
and the various schemes and plots and plans to overthrow that vote, and
Mm-hmm.
how close that came to being a reality. All because the majority of Americans at one point went and voted for a person like Donald Trump. That's why this can't be looked at as something that you do in your free time, something that don't have priority. Because as an American citizen, this should be your first priority.
Mm-hmm.
This
Wow.
should be your first priority.
Mm-hmm.
You go do whatever, you spend 5 minutes doing this and go do whatever else you would like.
Mm-hmm.
This still will be the most important thing.
Wow. Regardless of whatever you do after this.
Right. And if you want to read about it, and you want a good place to go for information about it, go to January6th.house.gov.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually a site set up specifically for the things that have gone on in this investigation so far, press releases, and things of that nature that
Mm-hmm.
deal specifically with this issue. It also has a tip line there. If you know of anyone that was wrapped up into this issue, that you can
Mm-hmm.
even call and give them a tip if you want.
So
Ain't
Leonard,
that something?
There's something. But let me ask you this, Leonard. You know, hood talk. So
Yeah.
basically, you're saying you want people to snitch.
I'm just saying, if you know something, say something. I don't know what you know, but if you know, so if you know something, say something.
Mhm. Leonard, this is something here, and I'm gonna pour Miriam. 'Cause I know she don't like talking about that line of conversation. So I don't want to make her uncomfortable. With she says she can't talk about that. But let's talk. And this is something that always come up. We have conversations based on different things, and this is something that always comes up, Leonard. Let's talk about black on black crime.
Okay.
Miriam says she can't talk about that either. So Leonard, we're gonna I'm gonna throw you a fastball, and I want you to swing, batter, swing, and see whether you can knock this ball off the park. Black on black crime.
Mhm.
First, what is it, and how prevalent is it in our community?
Black on black crime is crime that black people per impose upon other black people. That's what it
Mm-hmm.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Criminal activity between
Yes,
black folks.
absolutely.
I forgot that other question. Yeah,
How prevalent is it in our community?
it's prevalent enough to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how prevalent would you like for it to be?
But my thing is this right here: is it more prevalent in our community, or is it just as prevalent in any other community? If you say white on white, Chinese on Chinese, Latino on Latino, is it more prevalent in our community, or is it the same ball of wax? And why is it looked upon so differently when it's in our community and not the
Well,
same in other communities?
well, first of all, it's no different than crime in any other community.
Mm-hmm.
The
Exactly.
issue in our community with it is this obsession over the color of skin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. One of the biggest problems in our community. The
Mm-hmm.
second part is the media's perpetuation of the myth that somehow black on black crime is not existing between other races of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Meaning
their
what?
race of people.
Yeah, meaning white on white, Latino on Latino, Oriental, or whatever on whatever.
Whatever it may be.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The whole way that a lot of forward thinking, well, the way that a lot of African Americans think of this black on black crime thing and its resolve is perplexing.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely perplexing.
Now, why is it that and you say the media, so we'll say the media. Why is it that they push it more? They put a bigger push behind the whole black on black crime and not
Because
everything else.
it's all about white superiority and pushing the narrative to uh, to present the black community as, like I say, more violent than everyone else, and therefore you need protection from them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's great for white supremacy.
Wow. So that's basically what is built on.
Pretty much, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any other, you know, need for it other than being part of some larger plan
Mm-hmm.
towards that. You know what I mentioned. It has always been used to justify spending money
Mm-hmm.
and everything else to further disenfranchise African Americans.
That sounds to me. And let me get the phone line because somebody might want to call in and comment, agree, disagree, or whatever the case. So you can definitely be a part of the conversation. Give us a call at 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Let me say it one more time for the people that did not have a pen. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Let's talk about this black on black crime right now. And is it as real? Is it as rampant as the media wants you to believe? Is it more rampant in our community, or if you go into any other community based upon who you live around? Is and the way I see it, Leonard, and I could be wrong, but the way I see it, if you live around an individual for a long period of time, that's who 9 times out of 10 you're going to commit a crime against, if
And
you're going
I
to commit a
agree
crime
with
at all.
you 100% on that statement you just
Mm-hmm.
made.
Mm-hmm.
Crime is a lot of times based on relationship and proximity.
Yeah.
It's the furthest thing away from a racial issue that you could imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But too many people live and eat off that narrative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even black people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even black people. Like, say for instance, if we're talking about black on black crime, there's no reason to mention other races.
Yeah.
That's if we're looking for a resolution.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to mention anything that white folks are doing if you're having a black on black crime conversation.
Mm-hmm. But that always come up, and a lot of times, and we got somebody on the phone. I want to get to the phone call as well. But a lot of times, what happened is if we're talking about Black Lives Matter, I guarantee you, $100 to a half a donut, half a bitten donut. If you talk about Black Lives Matter, I promise you, somebody in that conversation gonna say, "Well, what about black on black crime?" That's if you're talking about Black Lives Matter, what about black on black crime? And we had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, a week or so ago, whenever it was, about diverting. They tried to divert the conversation to something totally different.
Right. They don't have nothing to do with black on black crime.
Nothing.
If you want, like I used to tell people, because I've worked with Black Lives Matter on many occasions. I know many people that are part of Black Lives Matter and things of that nature. Has nothing to do with what they're talking about.
Nothing.
And that's the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
But there are some people that eat off the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to push that narrative in order to stay full.
And see, my thing, I'm going to go to the phone line, but my thing is this right here. It's amazing. A lot of time it could be somebody that looks just like us that's pushing that narrative, that's doing the same thing. And that's real disturbing. I try not to react to it or whatever, but it's very disturbing. We talking about this. We talking about Black Lives Matter and all these people that are getting killed unjustly. And that's the alley we're going down that alley. Why do you want to switch alleys with me? Why you want to change up and talk about something different? What's your motivation in doing that? And Leonard, what do you think their motivation in doing that? Then I'm going to the phone line.
Well, like I said before, conversation is a skill. Good conversation is a skill.
Mm-hmm.
Conversation that is going to move towards action and resolving issues has to be based on proper assessment. That's if you really are interested. Now, if you just running your mouth, you say whatever you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't get offended when people call you to the forefront to ask you to clarify those things that you are saying and point out how they relate. There are some people that believe if you just read your children Black history stories, they would act better. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Let me see who we got here. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. Welcome to a new day, man.
Hey, welcome to you as well. What do you? I know you've been listening in for what we've been talking about for a minute or two. What do you think about that, Rico? And I bet $100 to a half-bitten donut that if we're talking about Black Lives Matter, we get a group of people together talking about Black Lives Matter, there's going to be 1, 2, or maybe a group of people that's going to divert, like we talked about a week or so ago, and talk about, well, what about black on black crime and all this? We're talking about one thing. Why do they do that? And does that irritate you?
Yeah, it irritates me. Sometimes I understand that what they're trying to do. Sometimes they're trying to avoid addressing the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes people really do sincerely want to address that issue.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, they're trying to avoid the anti-black racism that applies.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people are in denial. They don't want to address that, man. I mean, my entire lifetime, man, I've met black people that would say, man, I don't want to hear nothing about that race stuff or that black and white stuff. I'm tired of hearing about it. And these same people, man, they have a whole circle full of white people. They love white people.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't even like to address the reality or understand the reality. They'll be the first ones to defend this country and say, well, racism don't exist no more. And if you racist, this and that, I mean, but it's really to avoid the conversation, whether you white or black.
Mm-hmm.
It's to avoid the issue, the elephant in the room, And so they'll do it to spin it, try to get it away from taking responsibility or accountability for either the way they acted, either the way their friends act and they don't address it and they overlook it, or either the way their ancestors act. Maybe their grandfather has told us some terrible stories, and they don't want to acknowledge or feel like their grandfather was a part of that. Imagine the woman that accused Emmett Till of what he did, told that lie, telling her grandchildren one day, well, that's me. I'm that woman that lied.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Her grandchildren probably never knew. That probably was a deep, dark family secret. Auntie Lois is a liar. She had a nigger killed.
Mm-hmm.
Which one? You ever heard of Emmett Till? What? The Granny. Imagine Granny's face to find out you was that dastardly woman that lied and had this young man's life taken, all because you were married to an anti-black racist and you were dedicated and loyal to him. You contributed to that cause and had a life taken, a young child life taken. So yeah, they want to go back and say, well, what about what y'all do this? I remember I was in Florida one time and there was a guy, man, I almost beat him up because I knew he was trying to be funny. He said it around white people. Like all the times we had these conversations, he only wanted to ask this around other white people to try to make us seem like we were silly. And so he said, man, you know what I ain't never understood? Why is it that when something go on bad in y'all neighborhood, y'all tear up your own neighborhood? I said, because it don't belong to us. I said, why is it that when y'all gamble and lose y'all money, y'all jump off buildings and like to commit suicide? Because I saw what he was doing. He was trying to throw that stereotype out there. Then I had to finally tell him, man, look, I wish we'd have grew up together. I'd have beat you up every day. Just got disrespectful with him because I saw what he was trying to do. But at the same time, they try to keep the narrative in their court. They try to keep the ball in their court. And in the process of doing that, that makes people not have to accept accountability for the part that they played, or for the fact that they may owe somebody because of the conditions that were created and they benefited from it.
Wow. Leonard, what's on your heart? And that's true. That's true. They benefited from it and still to a certain degree is benefiting from it.
Did you call my name Raheem?
I did.
Oh, okay. You know, it's but it's the same thing that has always been as it relates to, you know, people's way of being slick and trying to impose something on someone, even bad information or a bad point of view. I would just prefer if it wasn't the truth, you didn't even mention it to me. First of all, I'm not associating with certain people of color. That's just, you know, a pet peeve of mine when it comes to things like that. You're not going to be around me disrespecting people of color just because you want to be a part of somebody else's team. Now, I'll come at you about that. So, you know, I'm very particular about that. And I let people know, you're not on my side. You are my enemy. And that's how I'm going to treat you. So don't come to me for nothing. Because I know what the agenda you have. You know, I don't sit around and, oh, I was so surprised that search. No. I listen to everything you said. Everything you mentioned, the conversation that you usually have, the typical topics that you bring up, how you approach those topics, and even the other people you talk to about those issues. Because I want to make sure when I make the decision that you are my enemy, I'm making the right decision.
That you truly are.
Yes, because I am not going to be nice to you. No.
Are you going to be nasty?
Oh, well, it'd be best if you just don't cross my path, period. Because why? There's no reason for us to constantly go back and forth. There's no reason for us to be pretending like we get along or that you somehow have the best interests of me and my people as one of your priorities or principles.
Wow. Mary, what makes one person powerful or think that they're powerful over another person? Can you talk about that? Okay.
What do you mean? Kind of powerful as far as
is
in general?
Yeah, in general, yes. And I say think that they're. I didn't say more powerful. I say think that they're more powerful.
Well, I can't tell you why other people think that they're powerful. That depends on the person.
Okay.
But for me, I feel like power comes from when you can make something happen by yourself. And whether it's positive or negative, I feel like that's power. When you can make it happen on your own. Because a lot of people can't.
Okay.
That is all.
That is all. And she's gonna step away from the mic. Rico, what do you say to that, man? What do you think makes one person feel or think, and I'm integrating that, think that they're more powerful than someone else?
I'll say their advantages or their will to do certain things that other people won't do. You know, some people won't kill. They won't bust a grape. Some people will knock you off, take you up out of here and won't think twice about it. Some people will read the Bible and push the Bible on you and introduce religion to you, but then put the Bible in the back seat and live their best life and do everything their heart desires. And then just go back and pray about it later on, where the next person might say, well, you know what, man, I got a conscience. I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because, you know, this country has pretty much introduced itself to everybody that it conquered and colonized via missionary work. Introducing them to beautiful white Jesus. Look at him, y'all. Don't he look beautiful? Look at him. He looks so welcoming, y'all. So peaceful like a little lamb. Sweet baby Jesus. Y'all need to get to know him too. Oh, y'all don't want to get to know him? Y'all ain't learning fast enough? You savages, come here. Kill them all. Why you kill them? We better than them. Them savages, they don't understand. They don't know how to receive this white Jesus we just introduced to them. They don't get it. They just don't get it. And then we create this thing called eugenics that goes ahead and it sort of endorses that same belief. Yep, our brains are bigger than theirs. Yep, they're dumber than us. Just make up any kind of thing to make yourself feel better. And really and truly, I think people do that because they have insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are insecure about yourself, you have to start finding ways to compare yourself to everybody to find out, well, I am better. Well, I can compete. I ain't that bad after all. Better yet, I'm better than y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Now the proof might say differently, but if I force it on you enough and do all the right things to make you believe it, then I'll prove myself to be telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So they did the things that it took to make, I don't just say the world, but they did whatever they needed to do to make people believe that they were superior. And they did it in record time.
That sounds like manipulation.
They did it in less than 400 years.
That sounds like manipulation to me.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Curtis, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Kurt, you there?
Y'all doing, man?
Kurt, asking a question, man. What is it that makes one person think, and again, I'm iterating the word think, that they're more powerful than another person?
Sickness.
That's it?
I don't need 3 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Sickness.
From a therapeutic standpoint, because you are a counselor as well, how would you counsel a person like that? How would you counsel a person that come to you with this idea in their mind that they're better than everybody, better than you, because they looked a little different?
That's a good question.
I ask one every now and then. A good one.
Honestly, Rodney, I think I really don't know. I think you got to let them lead that session. Let them lead. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's for me, I would probably just keep asking why. Why do you think that? Why? Support that. I think it's one of them things where you try and work to show that given person their truth, because obviously they're not living in no state of truth.
Well, in their mind, they're convinced now. They're convinced they're so much better than you. I don't even know why I'm sitting here talking. Why would they send me to a counselor that looks like you? I'm me, and look at you. Obviously, you can do nothing for me.
Now, I'm glad you went there, because that is a session that you can automatically terminate.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have a session at all, right? Because the only way therapy works is when the person that's coming for therapy, the participant, is open, receptive, and honest. No therapy works if the participant is not being open and honest and receptive. It don't work. You spinning wheels, you wasting time, and at that point, you're just trying to get through this hour so that you can go on and adopt that, so that you can go on and turn that into Medicare, Medicaid.
So basically, go ahead on get paid from that session and end it. Get paid and end the session.
Yeah, for me, that would be one of those things where I terminate the session because I got to show this person. Now you got to show this person. Okay, hold on, no. You're not in charge in here. You're here for a reason. You're here for a circumstance, a situation, and we're going to deal with that. See, a lot of times, things like that is what you remember last week when you talked about deflecting.
Yes,
that's a deflectionary tactic by folks who are in therapy who really don't want to be open and honest with themselves. So, if I point out that I look better than you, if I point that out any kind of way, in so many words, what that person is doing is trying to take the therapy session off of them and put it on you. That is in so many words, that's just bottom line elementary narcissistic behavior. So you as the therapist have the right. As a therapist, I don't know if anybody ever told you this, but as a therapist can terminate a session at any minute. Any minute, the therapist can say, you know what? This session is over. If you choose to see me, you can. But if you choose to see me, I'll see you same time next week. Or if you choose not to see me, don't worry about it. Please let the reception know not to reschedule.
Wow. That's good. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, good morning. How you doing this morning? Tucson, you there? Tucson, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep.
I was wrestling with a doggone mute button.
Now, Tucson, how long you had that phone?
I just got it. I had to replace it because the last one was trash.
Oh, okay. You just got to
Well, here's the kicker. I got a replacement. It might be trash too.
Oh Lord Jesus! Look at this.
So there we go.
Back on the same boat. But Tucson, how do you deal with somebody? How do you deal with an individual that just think they're better than you? Think they're better than you in all aspects of life. Now they don't look like you at all, but they think they're better than you. How do you deal with that individual?
It happened to me. I think last week. A superintendent that needed some material came here, and he sat with me and the analyst. And he wanted some material, and he keep coming here. And I told him, I said, you need to quit coming here. And I tell my manager, you need to quit coming here. And he let me know, and the Alan, that in his department, he was the big dog. And I said, that sounded real good. Big dog. I said, that came out of your mouth, boy. That was good. And so he needed some material. And he walked around. I said, but I told him stop coming here. I said, I don't mind throwing you under the bus now. I'm known for that. He said, well, I need this material. And can you get? I said, no, he can't help you because he got other stuff that I'm asking him to do, and that's what he's going to do. I said, I understand you the big dog, but you don't run nothing over here. I don't have nothing to do with nobody thinking about how they feel. That's good. You should think good of yourself. But it's dangerous for a man to think more highly than he ought to, especially when he come across people that have a certain mentality that I put my pants on just like you, buddy.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna just throw this out here for free, Leonard. I'm the head and not the tail.
Mm-hmm.
Above and not beneath.
Come on.
Come on.
That's how we roll.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I didn't say it. I'm made like that.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't have nothing to do with the interpretation of how you read your Bible and the Jesus you serve. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Not at all.
You made him white or whatever color you want him. But God is a spirit. I'm just throwing this out here for free.
Mm-hmm. No charge.
I commend people to their face for thinking the way they do.
Mm-hmm.
But back up off of me,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think that way. Because if I let you manipulate my mindset, that's witchcraft.
Mm.
I almost said something, Raheem, but I ain't gonna tell you this morning. Start off all wrong and
all wrong.
Lord, boy, I tell you. Let me go to Rico. Is it a bad thing that a person think highly of themselves, or is it just worse that they think less of everybody else?
No, it's not too bad. I mean, you know, you gotta have confidence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. We were speaking about that yesterday. I remember talking about this with somebody though about having high self-esteem and confidence.
Yeah.
But then it's a difference between being confident and being cocky, being overconfident and arrogant. And so sometimes, you know, you really have to just let those people be who they are. You know, sometimes they overcompensate because they lack self-esteem at one point in time. And so now once they found out, you know how we say speak it into existence. Man, you ever seen somebody speaking so much into existence that you know they just lying?
Yeah.
But they still feel like, you know what I'm saying, hey, I'm just trying to positive vibes. So now it gets to a point where you, in the process of you trying to motivate yourself and give yourself positive vibes, you tune your own horn. You trying to associate yourself with being a great. You want to make yourself legendary. You know, just because you experienced a certain time in life, you want people to believe that you was one of the greats that actually accomplished things in those eras. You know, it gets to a point where, you know, you just, you know, you need praise or whatever. So you just have to let them be that way. You know, I'm the type of person that if I see you got that way about yourself, and you might be good, I might, you know, acknowledge you, man, he's great. Even when I was playing saxophone and I met other people that were better than me, I was like, man, he's awesome. You know, and some of them were better than me. Some of them thought they were better than me than they wasn't. They wasn't. But my mindset is built to the point where when I find out somebody is like that, I'll say they got the big head. That's what we call it. I just say, man, yeah, I see he think he all that. The way that they get a load of me, I hope they don't come to me with that mess thinking they better than him because they're going to get their feelings hurt. They're going to learn today. And see, that's the best way you can get somebody. Like when you ask Curtis that question, if you had to have a conversation with somebody like that, I say the best thing you could do if you could keep your cool is to listen to them. And then when you catch them saying some illogical, some just very dumb stuff that has no reason, but you can prove it wrong by science, you can dispel it. That's how you break them. You sit down and you listen to them. Even if you have to use other species as an example, you just have to listen to the logic or the non-logic that they're speaking and kill it with logic. Because there have been people that felt like they were better than, and some of them were racist.
Yeah.
That were, I'm going to say, converted from being racist just based off the fact that they had a logical conversation with somebody different than the people that bought them up.
That's good. That's good. Mary, is confidence a bad thing?
No. I don't think confidence is a bad thing. I think it's bad to be overly confident and cocky about yourself. But I don't think confidence itself is a bad thing.
Okay. What is the line? Where's the line there, Mary? Because, you know, and I agree with you, confidence is not a bad thing, but where's that? How thin is that, or how wide is the line? Confidence and cockiness, arrogance. Where you think you're just better than, you're the cat's meow, and all that. Where's that line? Like that, Toussaint?
I don't know. I think it's, I don't know. I think it's a person-to-person thing, because some people that are cocky think that they're just confident. So I think it's, I don't know.
So they could be misguided themselves.
I won't say misguided. I think we have different definite, like, it's just like love. I can't tell you that you're wrong for having a different perspective. I just don't mess with your perspective.
And see that, and that's good, because that's the thing right there. You know, a person could, Curtis, they could not even know that they're overcompensating, confident, too cocky. They may not even know. What do you say to that? Do you present it to them, Curtis, and let them see, quote unquote, the error in their ways?
Well, you can. If you want to spend that time, you can.
Mm-hmm.
But see, the object is, it's not you showing them the error in their ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's them figuring out on their own the error in their ways. All you doing is showing them situation and circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you the difference, and this is just my opinion. There's probably other therapists that would refute everything I'm saying. There's probably other therapists that will go in a totally different direction than me, and they could give you some clinical data and words to back up what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But in my own professional opinion, the difference between confidence and arrogance is a confident person understands just where they got their confidence from.
Mm-hmm.
They understand just how they became confident. And they have no problem telling you why they are so confident.
Mm-hmm.
They have no problem giving kudos, if we can say that, to those who have pushed them to the point of being this confident. Most confident people, in all reality, understand that I can do nothing by myself. They move with a form of democratic association, not democratic as in the party, but democratic as in style and leadership and structure. Hold on, if I'm gonna do this, I know this gonna work. So now I gotta go with, they're more transformational. Now I gotta go over here and convince Nisi, okay, look, baby girl, look, this what's going on, this how we gonna do it, this how I think we should do it, blah, blah, blah. What you think? That's a confident person.
Mm-hmm.
An arrogant person tends to move with a style of coercion, punishment, a style of it's my way or the highway.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So they tend to buy into the fact that everything that was accomplished, they did it all on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've had to deal with one of those a time or two. And just on some, to keep it street and hood and, without throwing out a bunch of terms that folks that's listening ain't going to understand because they not therapists or whatever. I use a simple analogy, Rodney, or a simple comparison. I don't know which one you call it, but I look them right in their face and I say, look, I just need you to answer one question. It is an elongated question, but I need an answer. Here's the question. Name me one person you know that can make Coca-Cola, bottle, can Coca-Cola, distribute, ship, receive, distribute, and sell the very same bottles. If you can name me one person that can do all of that, then you have a right to feel like you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And most times when I throw that analogy out there, kind of lean back like, you can't do all that on your own. Okay, so why are you acting like you can do all this on your own?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So sometimes you just take the horse to the well, man. You can't grab him by his head and stick his nose.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Then talk to me, brother. Monique, come to you next.
You talk about that overconfident. It's okay to be confident. Be confident
Mm-hmm.
in everything that you attempt to do. Be confident about it. The way I deal with people who just, okay, then beat me.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't beat me, you can't be that great. Because there are people far more skilled at certain things than me.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can beat you, you might want to keep your mouth closed.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that person is usually bringing to the situation, I meet them right where they at. Because guys who have put in the work and are worthy of respect, They not gonna brag and boast and do all this, that, and the other. They gonna show you.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't gonna talk about it. They gonna show you, and you gonna know it.
Yeah.
You know, you like some people, like, say for instance, you don't have to say much, and people, you know how we do. Oh, you think you're smarter than everybody else? I just may be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start with you.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Break it down.
Yeah, because I'll run through this room before I stand around and say something I don't believe myself.
Mm-hmm.
So confidence is great to have, and you should wear it. Steph
Where's
Curry.
the line? Where's the line though between confidence and arrogance? How wide is that line? Or is there a line there at all?
I mean, it's two different playing fields.
Mm-hmm.
Arrogant people are just arrogant. They don't have any basis for being arrogant. They just choose to be. So they start acting that way. They may not be very good at all.
Mm-hmm.
They barely may be competitive, but they rely on their mouth to try to keep you from competing with them, or like you say, what was the word we was using? Diversion.
Yeah.
What was that? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. When they try to divert it, yes.
Yeah. So they'll try to do something else. But see, me, I'm the person. I'm gonna further engage you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna find out just how much you know about what you say you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny because that is a big issue with our community. People great at talking loud and all the whoop whoop hand gestures and blah 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 and I'm this and I'm that. Okay, then do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like my little niece used to say. See, my little niece used to have this issue with fighting. Never mentions anything in front of me. Sweetest, nicest, grinningest girl in the world. But if she say meet me after class,
it's
got
on.
a problem on your hands.
It's on.
Because you're not gonna say, "We say it from the hood." I hear what you're saying, but you ain't running up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Let me go to Monique. Well, y'all, something else. Monique, what's on your heart? And Monique, what is the difference? Where lies the difference between cocky and arrogance? And how do you deal with a person that's just arrogant and they the cat's meow? Meow. How do you deal with
Good
that?
morning.
Good morning.
I think it is a fine line, and I think it's a matter of perception.
Mm-hmm.
Because there have been times where I just walked in the room and somebody would say, "Oh, you arrogant," because you walked in, because of the way I might walk. So I think that's where the fine line comes in.
Mm-hmm. It's that swagger. Go ahead. Sis. I was just being funny. I said it's that swagger. When you walk in the room with that certain swagger, they don't like that swag, or they're intimidated by that swag. But go ahead, sis.
So that's what I think, where that fine line is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of perception, because you can, misconstrue, somebody's confidence, as arrogance, and they are different, but to deal with a person that's arrogant, I think, maybe you should point it out a little bit, but the thing is, I believe you should still make sure that, you're not mixing it up with confidence versus arrogance. I've had those situations where, I've always been helpful. And because I have been helpful, I've been accused of, oh, you think you know everything. But I'm just helping. And, I don't boast or brag about it. But because I'm always, and people are always coming to me. And so I just think it's a matter of perception.
Exactly. Charles, talk to me, brother. Good morning. Talk to me, man. What is the difference, man? And how do they look different? Do they appear different? Do they come across different? A person that's confident and a person that's totally just arrogant, self-righteous.
Well, yeah, arrogant and self-righteous is two different things also. But the person who's arrogant, like, and confidence, like Ali, how he used to box and say what he's gonna do, or Larry Bird saying, I'm gonna hit this shot over here. Is that confidence or is that arrogance? It's kind of both because you're bragging, but it's like you right. If you're right, you're right. If you're good at what you do and you talking mess about it, you are you confident? You're confident that you can beat these guys. You're confident at it. But the way your demeanor is an arrogant demeanor, that you're making people feel like they're lower, but you're supposed to in that type of competition.
Let me ask you this question, Charles. Let me ask you this question real quickly. Michael Jordan, they say one of is not the greatest basketball player of all times. Was he confident or cocky?
Both. But because he knew he was that good and you couldn't stop him. So for him, but see, the way people say is that you should let people say it about you. You don't have to say it about yourself. But that's not always true, because the part of the intimidation is you saying it. Now, what the young lady was just saying about when people walk in the room and they say, "Well, you arrogant," that's not her problem. Her that's their problem. That's what they perceive about her, and she didn't even open her mouth. So, and how I deal with people who are arrogant, I don't know, man. I guess I just out arrogant,
You out arrogant them, okay?
Yeah, you arrogant. I go double arrogant. Hey,
Lord Jesus. Now, stay, Charles, you stay right there, brother. You stay.
Little was saying same thing. Little was saying.
Okay, but both of y'all stay right there. As a matter of fact, y'all go in the corner together. Y'all have y'all conversation over there.
Man.
Lord, told you with a T. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. How you doing? I'm with them. I'm out arrogant you.
How you gonna out arrogant somebody?
I'm out confident you. I'm over cocky you. That's right. I don't care what you think. I deserve every bit of the arrogance I have. I've earned every drop of the cockiness I got, every push-up, every sit-up, every book read, every class I went to, and every man's behind I done whooped. I deserve every drop of arrogance. That's right, you heard what I said. I deserve and gonna own every drop of arrogance and confidence that I got. Yes, sir.
Lord Jesus. Tucson, bring us back in, Tucson. What's on your heart, Tucson? Talk to Rico Company next, brother.
He's calling the whole person to bring you back in.
Lord. Where we at this morning? This must be Black Conversation.
What is it? Friday.
Yes. Frantic Friday.
Yeah. I used to be fairly decent in high school in track. And they would come, some of the ones that was in didn't think they was in a grade up above me, and they said, "Juice, I would sit on the hall kitchen, what they call it, cafeteria hall floor during lunchtime." So they would come up and say, "Tuce, I'm gonna beat you today. I mean, beat you Friday. Track meet was Friday. I think Thursday, Friday." I said, "Well, all I gotta tell you, brother, is I'll meet you at the finish line." It's good you have that confidence. But
so basically you're saying 1 2 minutes I'm gonna beat you.
No. And it wasn't arrogance. See, what I used to do was, after practice, I go practice. I was trying to make myself better than I was. I ain't got nothing to do with you. It ain't about you. You go ahead, brag, boast, whatever you want to do. But I'll see you at the finish line. Same way now. It ain't no different. People say whatever they want to say, and even at the job. And I'm take your job, whatever. Okay, well, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Or they got people that think they the king. Accent. Man, that girl you got, I'm gonna have. Oh well, go ahead, knock yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, people have a tendency, and even in this society, people have a tendency to think great of themselves.
Yes.
Like any man or woman.
Mm-hmm.
They'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You got some people think they can whoop anybody. Until Mike Tyson's meet, who's Buster Douglas? Who in the heck is Buster Douglas?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Every dog got his thing. So anyway, I don't let nobody manipulate what I'm thinking just because they feel a certain way. That's good. That's commendable. But at the end of the day, it's hard to fall from ground level. When you put yourself above where you really are, that's a hard, long way down, my friend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Tucson is hard. It's hard to fall. Y'all didn't hear it. It's hard to fall from ground level. Wow. What Rico? Yeah, that's good. That's good. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, he was headed right where I was going, man. I mean, you know, there was a level of humility that a person of confidence would display.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the person that's confident might receive, I don't want to say a threat, but somebody might come up to them and say what they said to Don. I'm going to beat you.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, or they might come up and say, man, I'm better than you and this and that, man. I'm going to take your spot. And me personally, I might say to myself, well, you know what? They good. But I know my stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't going to even say, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to say, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I know what work I put in. You know, now this is the difference between a confident person. A confident person walks in the room and feels like, you know what, I can compete with the best of them.
Yeah.
An arrogant person walk in the room and say, I am the best. I'm the smartest person up in here. Look at all these peons around me and these peasants.
Mm-hmm.
They should be glad that I grace them with my presence.
Wow.
I'm that guy.
Mm.
But now a person that's insecure might look at a confident person and say, man, look at him. Every time he turn around, he's smiling. Why he smiling all the time? Well, maybe he's happy. Man, I don't like that joker. He always smiling.
Mm-hmm.
He must think he's better than everybody. They come up with all kind of different reasons because of the fact that you have a natural confidence. See, I think confidence is natural.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But overconfidence is forced.
Rico, let me ask you a question. Rico, let me ask you a question. And we're gonna take race the equation. We're gonna take it totally off the table. And I'm gonna ask you this question because both of these people were very arrogant. I could put three people in this thing. Who was more confident or arrogant? Was it Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, or Larry Bird?
I would say, oh man, you taking it back to this sports mess again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, man, it's probably about the same.
Yeah.
Between all three.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, and then some of it was just, you know, mess talk.
Yeah.
I'm being, you know,
yeah. I know. Yeah, I appreciate it.
I mean, boxers do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But see, this is what an overconfident person would do. An overconfident person would come in and say, you know what? I'm so great and I'm so much better than y'all that I don't even have to train and do the thing that it took to get me here.
Practice.
I don't have to practice anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't have to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
You so sorry and I'm so good. Even at your best, you can't beat me because my name Rico.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just that good. Mm-hmm. I'm just born with it. I mean, so, you know, a confident person really will still have that level of humility and they will continue to practice and put in that effort to make sure they can maintain that ability that they have to be able to compete. Mm-hmm. Because they also know that there are other great people. You know, I look at Steph Curry, you know, since we're talking about sports, you know, last night. And this series, man, he pretty much put himself in a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people been avoiding it. You know, they just been talking about Jordan and Mike and this and that for the GOAT. But man, this guy, he did some spectacular things.
Yes, he did.
But he's such a humble person.
Mm-hmm.
Confident. He's confident because he don't mind firing that shot up from half court.
Mm-hmm.
But he put in enough work to make sure that it's good enough for him to take that shot because a very arrogant person, an overconfident person, won't even warm up from 3-point land. They just sit back and watch everybody else while they spin the ball on their finger. But he's shooting 100 threes a day.
Exactly.
If not more.
Exactly.
From half court sometimes. I mean, just so he can be confident to take that shot during the game, not just because he's Steph Curry and he should make that shot without practicing.
Now, Mary, how can lack of confidence, how can a lack of confidence hurt a person?
I don't think lacking confidence always hurts though.
Why not?
Because then you feel like you have to overcompensate.
But what if it shuts? Some people shut down.
Some people. Not everybody.
So if a person shuts down, is that hurting them, or because it's certainly not helping them? If they get in a certain situation, say, and because we're talking about sports, we use an analogy from sports. Seth, he would take that shot at the drop of a hat. There's other players on that team that may not be as confident as he is to take that shot at that particular time. If there's 2 seconds left on the shot on the clock and he's coming down the court, he'll fire one up at half court if he need to, with confident that this shot going in. But you got 4 other players on the floor that may not be that confident. Does it help or hinder?
I mean, I think anytime you like something that's good, it could hinder you, but I think sometimes it keeps you humble. Because some people think they're better than they are, so I feel like it can keep you humble. Okay. That's good. Charles, talk to me, brother. I see you shaking your head over there.
Yeah, confidence, man, is big. Even when you're talking about like at work, because you want somebody, or being a leader. You understand? You don't want your leader, or you don't want to lead somebody without confidence. Because I'm not, like when I was in the military. We're not running down here if you ain't confident about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust what you saying, Lieutenant. Because you ain't confident. Well, I think we should go. Nah, bro, we ain't doing that. And I'm
people gonna get killed.
Yeah, I'm not doing that because you're not. We're not doing it that way because you're not confident. Now, a confident person, even like when you're doing math or something, and you doing an equation, and you say, "Well, I'm not sure." Well, I'm sure, but your daughter's right. Sometimes if you're fooling yourself with fake confidence, but if you're confident and you know what you're talking about, and you're good at it, then yeah, it'll help you on that way. But if you're not good, like let's say for instance, I'm trying to get off the sports thing, but my son, he can ball, and everybody who see him say he can ball, but sometimes he'll second guess himself, which shows he don't have that confidence. And people walk up like, man, if his confidence level move up a little bit more, he 5-star. So his confidence level, and he knows he got to get his confidence up. I seen a kid last night who had to get his confidence up, and the boy can ball, but he would kill any other time. But last night he just didn't have his confidence there. So confidence can lead you, man, within life things, like you said, your supervisor or your boss, or if you're the supervisor. Nobody's going to follow a person who's not confident. You're not. Nah, I don't know about. Well, we got $1 million deal right here. What you think about it? Well, I'm not sure what to do. Whoa, we talking about $1 million, man. What you mean you're not sure?
You better be sure.
You better be sure. You better fake it till you make it. You better tell me something. I just put $1 million up. So confidence means a lot when you're talking about things like that. But then again, flip side is exactly what your daughter said. Sometimes it can be like a false confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
Which will mess you up.
You got to be real careful when you're dealing with issues and situations like that. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? We're going to switch up go to another topic. What's on your heart before we move on?
Oh, no, you can go on and switch, man. I'll roll with the new topic.
Okay. New topic. Curtis, why in the world, and explain to me this, why should you take the time to explain to your young children why? Because they can ask you a question and they say, why? You answer that, why? You answer that, why? And 5 or 6 whys down the line, man, you start to scratch your head. Wait a minute now, hold on. Now you asking yourself why? Because because those whys could get the more whys you get, the more complicated the question becomes. So why should you explain to your young children why?
Because if you don't, the world will, and the world might not tell them the right thing, brother. If you don't, society will, and society might not tell them what is beneficial for them. You know what I mean? Like, both of my boys was like that. Look, I only got 3 minutes, so I'll never forget. We was riding in a car. We was leaving from Baltimore, going back to South Carolina. I had both of my boys in the car. My baby boy was right at about 2 years old, maybe 3 years old at the time. He might have even been 4, right? So we riding down the road, and this truck come up beside us. It's a Cloverland truck, but the truck specifically says skim milk, right? So my oldest boy at the time, Lil Kurt, who was either 14 or 15, he says, Cario, listen, whatever you do, don't you ever drink no skim milk. So Cario said, why? He said, because it's nasty. Now, here's how brilliant my baby boy is, who is now 16. Keep in mind, he was like 3 or 4 at the time. He say, bruh, how you gonna tell me if it's nasty if I ain't never tasted it?
Wow.
So Lil Kurt look at me, and I look at him and say, well, don't look at me. You put yourself in that fight, that dog. You know what I'm saying? But all at the same time, it taught me that, you know what? Sometimes what we have to pour in our kids, it can frustrate us. But if we don't do it, if we don't answer them questions, they're going to get answers. And the answers they're going to get might not be to their benefit.
Exactly. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, what do you say to that, man? Why should we explain to our children why? I can't wait to get the Toya on this one. Tucson, talk to me. Why should you explain? Why should you go ahead?
Most of us want our kids to be better because we probably tried it. Been there, done that. Most of us, most of us have been there, or we bumped our head so much in trying to do the same thing. I seen where you going, and it didn't turn out good.
So, Tucson, it almost sounded like you was very inquisitive growing up.
Well, I wouldn't. I was quiet. And here's what I would do. You know, I remember when we were coming up, they would say, boy, get out of here, grown folks talking.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yes, I do.
I would go out, but I would sit at the door so I'd still be able to listen.
We all did that.
We all got our butt.
Well, see, here's the thing about it. If I would go hang with the rest of the people my age, I wasn't going to learn nothing from them because they didn't know no more than I did. But I made a lot of mistakes along the way. And probably when I see our kids, sometimes we cross a path because somebody behind us is going to cross that same path, and we need to give them some sound advice. Even when we made the same mistakes they trying to make. So I don't know, man, you went too quick about the last subject because, and I'm through with it. But you know how good we were, a person is, take for an athlete in high school. You may be the best thing since sliced cheese. But when you get to the college level, everybody good.
Okay. Mary said she got something. Mary said she got something to say. Go ahead, Mary.
I got something to say.
Say it, Mary.
Because you ain't say it.
I ain't say it.
Go on, say it.
I used to tell y'all all the time.
No, go on, say it.
Which one? Oh, you know, you said it. You good at that. Go ahead.
If you want to support the broadcast, you can take yourself and get your phone and go to PayPal or Cash App, and you can find us at DKM RADIO. That is DKM RADIO. Do you have your phone to type in DKM RADIO on PayPal, or Cash App. And if you want to call in, you can go ahead and stay on your phone. Go ahead and type out how much you want to give us, though. After that, I'll wait. You got 5 seconds. Okay, thank you. God bless you.
I'm going to the app right now, Mary. I'm going right now.
I'll wait for you. I'm going to go ahead and tell them how to call while I wait for you. If you want to call in, you can go ahead and dial 508-924-3521. Put it on the screen.
Put it on the screen. It's on the screen already, but I'll put it up there again right there.
Put it on up there.
There
Let
you
them
go.
see it. Let it sizzle in their spirit.
There you go.
Now, you ready for me to tell you where to go? You can go to PayPal, or you can go to Cash App, and you can type in DKMRADIO.
Toy, you just love it.
Right.
Toy, you just loving it, aren't you?
But I'm just trying to figure out if she's saying that with confidence or arrogance. I just want to know. Want to know. Because it sounds like she's saying it with confidence to me. And that's what she's supposed to use. Now, if you take it as cocky and arrogant, then that's on you. But that sounds like confidence to me. I mean, I'm just saying.
Lord Jesus, Lord. Look at how the old will say both of them. That both of them. But Toya, let me come to you, Toya. And Tucson says something. I used to say it to my daughters growing up all the time. I say, you can't listen to your little friends. They the same age as you. They don't know no more than what you know. Come and ask me or your mama. They don't know how you gonna go and act. Well, my friend said, how old is your friend? My age. Well, you had your experience.
Some of your friends can be smart like me.
Woo!
You can be smart, but to the question at hand, we take for granted being a leader, being a big brother and a big sister, and being a parent. That's leadership.
Yes.
And a part of leadership, especially, I'm talking from a management taught me this, and then I took it home. You have to tell them the why, because other than that, they're not robots. And in order for people to take ownership, in order for people to fully understand where you're coming from, you must tell them the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and not just what it is you want them to do. That's like what's the word we was talking about it the other day? Control, right? Oh, just do what I say do with no explanation. And they're kids; they don't know why. What do you mean? Why do you got to tell them why? Do they know why? No. So you're just telling them that 2 + 2 is 4 without telling them how to get to the 4 and why it makes 4, because you got to add 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. And when you add, you have to break that down. You can't just tell them the answer, because how do you critically think? And that's why we tell people why. You have to do adults why when you go to a new job to train. And you tell them that I need you to be on air. I need you to do this at 5 minutes to 9. Well, why? Yeah. What do you mean why? You need to tell them the next part so they can put the pieces together. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the importance. And that's something that we don't do with our kids. That's why we all special out here in these streets. Because we just let these little babies grow up like weeds. Oh, I'm telling you, I see it all the time. Hey, you talking to the 4-year-old. Well, put that down. Be quiet. And you 4. A 4-year-old not gonna put nothing down and be quiet. A 4-year-old not gonna not touch nothing because they just don't know anything but what we teach them. So it's important that when you're teaching anybody anything, adult or children, you must tell them the why. Because if not, they're gonna take for granted and not know anything else but just be a zombie and can't critically think.
Exactly. Rico, why should you explain the why? And the more you go, the deeper you go into that why, the more times they ask you that why, your answer is going to be a little more complicated every time. So why should you explain the why, Rico? Rico, you there? Rico may have had to step away for a second. Go ahead, Mary. You want to answer it?
I sure do.
Okay.
I'm gonna answer from my job though.
Okay.
Because I had a really good chief, and my favorite chief, he's my military father at this point.
Okay.
He always told me, if you don't understand, don't do it. I don't care if I told you. I don't care who told you. If it's time pressing, yes, because there's things that we do that we have to do. It's pretty time sensitive. But once it's all said and done, if you don't know why, then don't do it. Because you're not always gonna be here.
Yeah.
To tell me to do what I need to do. You like the person who guides you and leads you isn't always gonna be there.
Yes.
So when I'm away from you, how do I know? I may not know the answer at that time because it's a new situation, but I can do my best if I know why I did everything else.
Okay.
And you don't always have to have the answer to the why, as long as you're willing to get that answer. I feel like because don't go outside because it's hot. Why? Well, the temperature is up. Why? The sun is out. Why? Oh, well, I'll figure it out and I'll tell you. Yeah. But for right now, we're not gonna go outside.
No. Is because I said so an answer?
No, I don't believe.
Because I said so.
I don't believe him because I said so. Because then why are you saying so?
Because I said so.
What makes you believe that's like me? That's just the blind leading the blind at that point. Because my mama said so, so now you gotta do it because my mama said to. Or you get to a new command. The command that I came from, we didn't even have a good safety program. The person who left knew what they were doing because they went to previous commands, but then I got it, and I'm like, well, this is my first command. Why do we do this? Why do we do that? What papers do I need? What I don't know what to do. We have a zone inspection. Where's the paper? I don't know where to get it from. Because they did it all for me because they didn't explain it.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to know your whys. You have to understand why you do what you do or don't do it. You're just doing stuff just to do it.
So because I say so is not an answer.
No. Why are you saying so? How am I gonna teach my kids if you don't teach me?
Because I'm the parent. I say this is what you're gonna do. Now get on over this line. Come on. Get on over this line.
Where we at? Because everybody said so. That's why where we at right now. Because everybody said so, and ain't nobody told nobody why they said, and now we're stuck here confused and don't know what's going on or what to do right now.
Wow. Rico, you back with us? Charles, talk to me.
Yeah, I'm right here, man. I didn't even know y'all had called me. What's going on?
Yeah. We asking the question, man. Why should we explain now when a young child come to you and ask you something, whatever it is, and you say no, and they say why? Now, if they continue to say that why 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times or whatever, that why your answer is going to be a little more complicated because now you have to dig. Every time you have to dig deeper, you have to dig deeper. Why should we explain the why to the children?
Why can't you find the answer with the kid? Why can't you just find the answer with the
child? The thing is, that was a game we used to play when we were young. Just why? I saw somebody do that to me intentionally just to show me how it worked. And so it gets to a point where you have to answer a question so good to the point that they have to find a way to even ask why. You have to give them a good enough reason of why they asked the question. But I never found a problem with explaining or telling a person why. You know, I had younger cousins that the cousins that were a little bit older than them used to always ridicule them and make them feel bad for asking the question. Man, I can't believe you just asked me that. You dummy. And I could tell by the look on their face how bad they felt. And I told myself, look, man, don't ever feel bad about answering a question. Because if you don't ask, you ain't going to never know. You'll just be sitting back looking dumb, assuming, and then afraid to ask and not going around not knowing because you're too ashamed to ask because somebody's going to embarrass you. So screw what everybody say and always feel better about knowing what it is you need to know because the worst thing that you can do is go around here and not know what's going on. So don't never hesitate to ask, but you have to go ahead and answer those questions, man. Answer them the best way possible, because like Curtis said, if you don't answer the question and they find out the answer the wrong way, or they get informed by the wrong person, then you're gonna have a person that's dysfunctional and misforming other people, actually doing things to hurt themselves. But I'm gonna give the rest of my time to Monique, man. I ain't heard Monique in a second.
Monique, yeah, I was actually Monique. She's coming in and out. She had to hang up again, so that's why I hadn't called on her. She's at work, and so she's going in and out. But let's go to Charles. Charles, why?
Hey man, I totally agree with what Curtis and Rico said, man. Because if you don't answer them, if you don't have a why answer, somebody does, and it might be the wrong answer. And that is like I'm 100% with that one. That's why you answer whys. Now, if it's just like they're just being why right before it's bedtime, you know, kids do that because they ain't ready to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Well, and then all these first they got to go use the bathroom. Then they got to ask questions of why. Then it's time to cut that off. As look, we'll find that out tomorrow. But like, was your daughter who said we'll find that out tomorrow, but right now do it this way.
Yeah,
you know, because kids do that. You know, kids sometimes they'll test their limits because they don't want to go to bed. I don't want to go to bed. I don't want to go to sleep. You know, something like that. They ain't ready to go take a bath. They ain't ready to put something down. So they go to the why questions, knowing that it's going to be 100. You know, 100 questions give you 100 minutes. You know, 100 minutes to stay up. Exactly. But I totally agree with what Curtis and said and what Rico just said, man. If you don't give them that why answer, they're going to find it out probably the wrong way. And that's the problem right now. Probably that's the problem what's going on with a lot of things in our society is that we ain't answering these kids why questions. And the tough ones, you know, they're coming around because they throw this the trans thing in our face a lot, and so you got kids asking why. You know, why this, why that. So you got to give them some educated answers. You know, you don't want to
watch this, Charles.
Educated. Yep.
Can we go to the sun?
No.
Yeah.
No.
You talking about the Son of God? Ooh.
Look at this joke. All of a sudden, Mr. Preacher Man done showed up.
Hallelujah. Got him.
Okay, but watch it.
No, but that was a good one though.
That was a good one. Yeah, you threw that one in. I ain't see that one coming.
That's somebody was good when you asked me. Like,
can you go to the sun?
Yeah, but you're gonna die.
Why?
Because it's hot.
Why?
Go to bed.
Why? See, and that's just what it is. Every level you get, man, is more complicated.
Right. But look, guess when they ask why is it hot? Because it's hot. Why? Well, come over here to the stove and let me show you something. Don't do the kid like that.
See, we call the child. We call the child protective services right now. Yeah, go ahead, Curtis.
Right here. I got an uncle named Bruce, right? And he one of my favorite uncles, bro. But my Uncle Bruce is the most antagonizing person I have ever met in my life. And he's so antagonizing that it's funny, right? So I remember years ago, one of his kids was having that Y episode, right? And I was like, oh, Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because she was old enough to understand. She was like that. So I'm like, oh, Lord. She don't realize that her daddy is extremely antagonistic. She don't realize that yet. So and she hit that Y mode, bro. And at first, he was fighting on it like, okay, stop. Because Bruce is brilliant. He's a pianist. So I guess he got tired of it. And guess what he said?
What's that?
He flipped it on her. She asked him something. He said, well, why are you asking me that? She started trying to answer. He was like, well, why? Well, why?
That's a good one, Kurt. You just taught me something, bro.
He ran out of answers. What it is, Kurt. He ran out of answers.
So upset. Like, you can see it in her face, like, and she just stormed out the room. She didn't mess with him no more the rest of the weekend. She didn't ask him one question.
Look, he ran out of answers. Let me go to Monique before we lose her again. I know she's at work. Monique, why should you answer the question? Your young children ask you the question why. Why should you take the time to answer those whys? And you know, the more time they ask you why, the more complicated the answers you want to get. So why should you answer those questions, Monique?
You know, I think that not answering the why, like everybody was saying, that they can find out from, you know, somebody else, and it might not necessarily be, you know, the route that you would want them to take. But, you know, I'm a product of that, you know, not, you know, giving the whys. And even having that particular conversation as an adult. And what I realized is that a lot of times, you know, some parents didn't know how to explain the why. You know, even though it might get complicated, but they still didn't know how to articulate it themselves. And I think that's why when the child go, why? Okay, I got you at this level, but then the child is asking the next level, and after that, because most of the time, you know, if we haven't necessarily experienced it ourselves, and we're just regurgitating it from what, you know, was explained to us, we can't give you the why. And who wants to look like they don't know what they're talking about in front of their kids?
Exactly.
You know, so that's what I see. But I think not telling them why can hinder them on how they operate. I think somebody mentioned it, where, you know, making, you know, choices and decisions, you know, becomes complicated, you know. So you know, with myself, I've learned when my child was young, I was, you know, she would go into like, you know, 20 whys, you know, and I would still try to tell her, but then I would let her know I'm gonna have to get back with you, and she'll remind me to get back with her. You know, you know, on those answers.
We went to the mall. Me and Mary took my grandkids, her niece and nephew, to the mall. And we went into the little toy store. And my granddaughter, she is this little toy she wanted. We already bought her some, but this other little toy she wanted. And I said, okay, we'll get it for you next time. She said, okay, take a picture. I said, take a picture? She said, yeah, take a picture of it so you remember what it looked like. I said, huh? Take a picture? I said, what? See, you forgot to take the picture? Take the picture. And she stood right there because she wanted that little toy. I got to go get her the toy. As a matter of fact, I might go get it for her today, surprise her with it. But she wanted me to take a picture. And so to your point, Monique, they will make you revisit it. You're going to revisit it what it is. You're definitely going to come back to it. Hold on. Let me go to, I think we have Friday. Friday, you with us? Or VP? Which one? Who we got this morning?
Good morning.
Oh, man, we got VP. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Pretty good yourself?
Man, doing good. I need that. Look here. Glad to have you, man. How do you answer those whys, brother? And you know, the more time you answer that why question, it's going to get a little more complicated. So how do you deal with that, VP?
With little kids, like my son, I think their whys just come from curiosity. Probably about after the fourth why, I'll ask them why you keep asking. Where are you looking to get from this conclusion of why? Because I done told you, and my knowledge only goes so far. When you're adult, and you ask why questions like that, it's either you being pessimistic or I need to give you the answer to some type of solution where you're missing the gap. Why is a curiosity, and why is something that gets you to not say yes or no? Why is a conversation starter? Not all the time is why something there for beneficial of somebody. Like I think there was your daughter talking about the military. Depending on where you are in your branch, it doesn't matter what your why question is. You're going to do it because you signed up to do it.
Wow.
You don't get to be curious in the military. You don't get to be curious so much in elementary and middle school and high school. They tell you what to study, you move on. I think the ego makes you believe you can have a why and get an answer every time. This world doesn't work that way. Why did God make the earth?
Yeah.
Who's going to tell you that answer? So just because you ask the question don't mean you're supposed to get the answer you're looking for each time. And just because, and Rico and Curtis brought up a very good thing. You know, if somebody doesn't know the answer, they're going to find it themselves. Doesn't mean it's correct. It doesn't mean it's detrimental to the individual either. It just means you don't know all the answers.
Wow. That's good. Captain Leonard, talk to me, brother. Why in the world you gonna sit here and answer all these dang on why questions? 5, 6, 7, 8, and they rolling off. They just rolling off the tongue. Why? And Leonard, you sitting there scratching your head, like VP just say, your intelligence level it only go to a certain point, and then it's gonna cut off. So why in the world you gonna keep answering them questions, Leonard?
Well, first of all, I look at it as a learning opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And because I enjoy that, it does not bother me very much.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do is I put the onus on the person asking the question.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what I know, this, that, and the other, and I'll point you to other resources. I may go and send you a book or an email or something about it. Trust me,
Mm-hmm.
you'll put it down before I will.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what I love about kids. It's because that's that opportunity to teach them. So they'll get into the habit of asking questions, doing research, and forming their own opinions about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to take them through that exercise and teach them the value. Like with my kids, my son here, like, what you doing? Can't you see what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
You see exactly what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Things are just that way. It is what it is.
See, Leonard, not everybody is as direct as you are, brother.
But you have to take I take every opportunity because I won't be here forever.
Mm-hmm.
And they may not be here forever, and we won't be around each other. My mother used to say, I would rather you get great at making decisions than me telling you what to do.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Mary has a question she wanted to ask. What's your question, Mary? Huh? She tried to give me the answer, but I pass it back to her.
Go to Toya.
Oh, you want to go to Toya? Go ahead, ask the question. Toya with a T?
Yes.
When you don't explain the answer, or maybe they don't ask you first, maybe they ask their friends first, because that happens with open teenagers. Well, how do you correct the wrong answer?
Listen, you're not gonna be mine, and your friends get to you first. I'm the one, especially when they get time, we talk about everything, honey. But in the event, I'm going to see it. You know, I get this thing from my daddy to where he would talk to me about everything. And when I was younger, it got on my nerves. But that's how I got so intelligent. However, my father did not know a lot. So he beat me to the punch like, listen, I only went to 9th grade. So you cannot keep asking people for questions because some people will tell you the wrong thing. You got to go find the answer for yourself. You got to use books. You got to use resources. You got to use things like that. So for me, when I see or hear you've been getting wrong answers and information, it's time to have a conversation. Like, example, my niece came to me, Auntie, my nickname is Foreign. Do you know what foreign means? Foreign means strange and unknown. Why would you want people to call you strange and unknown? When you use your name is to be called because you're royalty. And we began to have a conversation. So she's on this, oh, my auntie's not that serious. Well, you think it's not that serious, but I'm just letting you know why you shouldn't let people call you out your name, how I feel about it. And I'm not calling you foreign. Your name is Leah. That's what I'm getting called. Don't be getting called foreign around me. I'm not going to accept it. And I go through my thing because that's me. So when we have a conversation, other than with them nicknames, don't bring that here because they know my stance on it. They know the truth. Now you go do what you want to do because I did what I wanted to do, but you're going to know the truth with me. And if you choose to listen to your friends, it's because you wanted to and not because you didn't know no better.
Anybody else want to address it? Charles, yeah, she pointed to you, Charles.
What was the question, man? I just got back.
If your child goes to their friends before they go to you, or you didn't answer the question like they wanted you to, so they went somewhere else to get the answer and it was the wrong answer, how do you correct it?
Didn't I tell you?
Why didn't I tell you? Yeah, that's true. Nah. That's a good question because I guess we talk about everything. And I tell you what, the way you correct it, because my oldest son was good at that. You have to constantly keep talking to them. Sometimes kids don't want to listen to their parents anyway. You understand? So you just constantly have to keep over and over talking to them and try to keep an open dialogue with them.
I'm so tired of talking about this. I'm tired.
I'm sick and tired
oh,
of being
Jesus.
tired.
We can talk
You
about
gotta keep it up, man.
No, you're not tired.
You gotta keep it up, man. You gotta keep it going, because they will go like your daughter said, they will go somewhere else and try to find the answer. And even you know, the most adventurous child is always going to be the one who run out there first and do something without trying to, you know, you call them adventurous or you can call them slick, you know.
Slick.
But you gotta keep
slick rascal, did not.
Yeah, you gotta keep on them, man, because one thing is for sure, it won't, just like she just said, it won't be because you didn't have a source to go to. You chose to go to that other source.
But
you understand?
Are some things too adult? Like you want to keep your child in the child's place at the same time?
At age wise, yes. At age wise.
Tell them that. And you can tell them that.
Right.
Tell them that.
But it's weird because these days, everything is out there. You understand? Everybody's walking with a cell phone. So when we had to go sneak and listen to Richard Pryor, they could just go pop them in and have the headphones on.
What you know, little Richard Pryor?
You know what I'm saying? Back when we was little, you know, your parents leave, you had to put it on the record and then put it back, make it look like it's the same. We ain't been listening.
But that's what I'm saying. If you do tell them, you know, that's not really, you're not ready for that just yet. You know, like stay in your place. They're gonna find.
And they're gonna try to find out. So
how do you correct that? Because now you have to have the conversation, unless you want them to be misled.
Correct. And that is, these days is way different. I have a 30-year-old child and I have a 14-year-old child. So the difference of that is like the time 29 years ago or 25 years ago when he was at 5 years old compared to my 14-year-old, it's a lot more information out there for them kids to get a hold of, because 25 years ago the cell phone went like it is right now. So I do have to speak to them in different ways. I do have to really talk to little, like Charles. I have to we talk about everything. You know what I'm saying? There's no embarrassment, and he's probably more embarrassed than me. You know, oh, Dad, I don't want to talk about that, bro. You gotta learn it.
You're getting about too much information, Charles. You're getting a little too deep for that child, man.
Hey, man, because it's deep out here, man. It's deep in these streets. It's deep in these streets.
Do you know why this is like this and that is like that? Well, let me explain it to you, son.
I really don't want to know right now, Dad. I don't want to talk about it. That's what he say, man. But
let me tell you about the birds and the bees.
You know your buddy's talking about it. They ain't birds and bees. Won't even go there no more.
Ain't no more birds.
But you're right. But she's right. Yeah, she's right, Pete. They're gonna find out. So the time difference is a no comfort zone, man. Exactly. I mean, and I don't think it's a things that they talk, man. These people taking kids to drag shows, so you gotta talk about everything these days.
Exactly. Let me keep this thing. Let me go to you're right. You better. Exactly. Willa, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Hey, Raheem.
Willa,
how y'all doing? Morning Glow.
Hey, doing good. Willa, we asking a question. You a little child come to you. Your child, see a grandchild or something like that, and they come, they young, and they keep asking you the question, and they ask you why, but why, and the more they ask you that question, why, the more complicated your answer have to become. Why do you keep answering that question, why, Willa? Or why would you?
Because you have to answer it because they want to know the information. That's the most important thing. The thing is the delivery. I don't know how old the child is or what the question might be, but if someone is constantly asking you why, then you have to make it clear. Sometimes we learn by reading. Sometimes we learn by pictures. So it depends on who you're talking to. So if you want to make it clear, you probably need to use an example, especially with children, to make it so they'll understand. And you have to, because if you don't answer it and they get the answer from somebody else, they may not get it the way it should have been give it to them. So it's so important that when somebody's asking you why, try if you know the answer, but you know, we can't be a person that thinks we know everything. Sometimes you got to come back to them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, well, you say, well, I maybe can't answer that right now, but I'll get back to you. Like I said, it depends on how old the child is, who the child, you know, what question it is that they want to ask. You know, I always think the dumb question is the one that you don't ask.
Exactly.
That's what I just believe. Because we don't know everything. That's my opinion right here.
Okay, Badger, good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. Hope everyone's having a blessed day.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, absolutely. Badger, why should you continuously answer that question? Why? Because you know, I know, man, there's a peak to my intelligence, my intellect. There's a peak there. Now, if I'm getting close to that red zone, why am I gonna keep trying to answer the question? Why? But why? Talk to me, Badger.
I'm going to answer it the best I can. And if I start getting into a red zone, I'll either find someone that knows or we go get a book. So I can learn it just as much as they are.
Okay.
So I want them to know as much as possible so they can make the best educated decision in every moment they're given.
That's good. That's good. Go ahead. You got something else, Badger?
It's pretty simple.
Okay. Cool beans. We're gonna move on to another topic. Anybody want to say anything to this topic before we move on?
I sure do.
Oh Lord. Go ahead. What you want to say?
I feel like people, or maybe older people, at least when I was younger. I mean, I'm still young.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. I think where I was coming from with my questions, because I was exposed to it. You're not going to ask something that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
So my issue was always I was told to stay in the child's place. So I always just ask questions to my sister. What is this? Why is this? How do we do this?
And they 1 year apart.
Well, I wasn't getting the answer anywhere. So that's where I got answers from, where like adult answers.
From a person that's 1 year older than you. 1. Not 10, not 5. 1. Okay. Hey,
you know what?
Where was her sister getting the answers from?
Exactly.
Niecy just said something that is detrimental to us teaching our young adults in today's world.
Yes.
Right? As I was driving, I was listening, and I'm thinking, because I'm asking myself the same questions you asking everybody, right? I found myself to be more effective with my kids and even with the kids that I work with. When the why questions come, your answer should entail the 4 W's and 1 H. Right? What, where, when,
who, what,
why
when.
is what you're asking,
yeah,
and how.
And
a lot of times, if you have all of that tied into your answer, you won't get too many more why. Because now you done sent the mind down we done got away from teaching our kids or allowing our kids or even promoting our kids to critically think. You know, age of robotics and computers has almost, in my opinion, drifted into the mind of the human being. So now the questions that require exploration are not, it's like, I don't know, it's like, oh, you trying to be in the know, you trying to be too smart, but it's like we're not promoting creative thought or creative thinking or critical thinking anymore. So we don't really know the process of answering a why question. We don't forgot it. I ain't gonna say we don't know it. We just don't forgot it. It's not needed now. You know what I mean? But that was a powerful statement she made. When you answer that why, it's okay for you to throw the what, the when, the where, and the how in there.
That's good. There's someone anybody else have anything that they want to say to this particular topic before we move away from it?
Yeah, man, cause I don't know if we hit on this or not, but you know, especially in our community, we have a tendency to hear parents or maybe adults tell children, get on out here with all these questions.
Yeah. Yep.
You're getting on my nerves now.
Mm-hmm.
Where you getting all this from? You're getting on my nerves. So, I mean, we have to understand, because if you do get aggravated by a child asking why, you got to understand that this child is thinking, and they are looking for reason and logic.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at everything that's going on in this world. They are observing things, and then their brain is thinking and trying to make sense out of it. So they ask these questions looking for the reason behind condition,
mm-hmm.
or the reason something is necessary or exists, of the part that it plays,
mm-hmm.
the impact and the importance of certain things. They ask these questions looking for that clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute you decide to say that you don't feel like being bothered with things that they're probably asking questions that you should have already asked yourself.
Yep.
If you're really concerned about this experience that we're living.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I always found joy in giving quality time to children that had enough interest in things to ask questions that they had to be thinking for them to come up with. And it wasn't because somebody did something to them or something that somebody else forced them to think about, but something that they looked at on their own and they said, you know what? How did that tree grow in the middle of that water?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And you try to break it down and explain it to them. And at the same time, they are recognizing things that maybe you don't got so distracted from in life that you forgot to pay attention to it. So they just brought something back to your attention.
Exactly.
By asking these questions. You say, you know what? That's a good question. I didn't even think about that. The whole time I've been looking at this and looking at that, I didn't even understand this and that. And now they made you think. Mm-hmm. And you could go back and look at that child and say, you know what? You're a smart little child.
Yeah.
Instead of telling them, get out of here. You're getting on my nerves now.
I get tired of all these dang questions.
We have to be mindful of that, because that's very make or break in a child's early development.
Mm-hmm.
And it also is learned behavior. They may learn to respond to their children the same way, instead of understanding just how important these questions, that one question is, because it is a very, very clear purpose behind it. And like I said, it's to find out the reason why certain conditions exist, or why certain things are necessary, and what type of impact they have on the next step.
And don't do this right here. Don't say this right here. You ask too many questions. We got to change your friend. We got to get you another group of friends. You asking too many questions. You got to change your friends. Cut it out, Charles. We're going to the next topic. And this is a very personable. That's a word, ain't it? Personable topic. Yeah, that's a good question. Toy, you with a T. You there? There you go. Examination table. We're going to put you on an examination table, and you have to take 3 things out of yourself that you don't like. What are you removing from yourself, past or present?
Nothing. Not a thing. Nothing need removed. Nothing need removed. It's fine just the way it is. There might have been one point in time where I might have said, change this, that, and that. But God already said He made me perfect. I ain't removing nothing. I'm not going to let the devil trick me to make me think that any ingredient need to be taken out of me at all, period. Because every ingredient that's in me is what make me me. And anything that change or move the slightest little bit up or down is going to change me. And I'm good right here where I am. So nothing will be removed out of me. Please and thank you.
I'm going to play tennis. I'm going to play tennis with Toya. Now, was that cocky or arrogant?
It was all 3. I deserve all that. Gonna be all that, and I'm gonna get all that because I'm good.
Look at y'all. Look at y'all.
Why? Because God said so.
Uh-oh. What do you
say?
You
got any whys after that? You need to go ask God why, and He got your why.
She look. How they used to say on that show? She told you. She told you. Willow. Excuse me. Willow. Knock my whole speech line out. Willow.
Yes, Raheem.
Now, examination table. Mary, stop laughing at me. Examination table. we're gonna put you on the table, and you have to remove 3 things, past or present, from yourself. What would those 3 things be?
I would say nothing, because it got me to where I am today.
But if we say
all
past,
my lessons, all my experiences,
Willa,
the lessons that I needed to.
but if we say past or present, past, you know, you had to go through that transition. So if we're dealing with the past, what are some of the things of your past before you went through the transition to get you where you are right now? What are some of those things from the past you would have liked to have removed?
I would have liked to have been a better mother. I would say, because I was 15 when I had my first child, and I didn't know much about raising children. I had a child at an early age, so yeah, I would say that. That's something that I would want to change.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Charles, talk to me. Past or present? Examination table. Examining yourself fully and holistically. That's a word. You examine yourself now. Past or present? What are the 3 things that you would have liked to have removed from yourself?
Nothing. Not. I think. No, I just can't. Hold on. Let me see. I'm gonna go in, but no. Let me see. No, but honestly, probably. We can't add nothing. Hey.
No.
That's kind of hard, man. Because the thing that only thing I would change about me is having more knowledge. You know, I got with 3 boys.
Now we're taking something out. Now we're removing something. We're not adding anything.
I know, man.
You're trying to be slick with it now.
I know. Let me see what it takes. I wouldn't have got married. Man. I was just kidding. I ain't gonna say that. That was a joke, y'all. Anybody listening out there, TV land, radio land, and TV land.
Exactly.
Charles is playing. It's hard, man. I don't know, man, because what I've been through made me me. So, I guess
again, like I said with Willa, in order to get there, you had to go through it. So I said past or present. So the past, what would you have liked to have removed? You ain't went through the transition yet. At that time, what would you have liked to remove from yourself? It's a complicated question, ain't it?
Yeah, man. Maybe that's a hard one, bro. I don't, because it's hard to stump me on that when I'm like, when I feel like, I don't know. I don't really know, man, because everything that's even the past, like let's say for instance, I say I wouldn't have wanted to go to prison. But the circumstances that I went to prison, then I wouldn't have been able to do what I had to do at that point. So I can't take that away, because then I wouldn't have saved anybody's life. Those people would be gone. So I can't. It's hard. That's a good one, bro. That's a good one, because it's like saying which root of this tree I'm gonna cut off, and the tree gonna think, man, I need that root, because that root make my leaves and make me who I am. So to be an adult, for us thinking like an adult, because back in the day we probably said, man, I would have done this and I would have done that, but going through experiences in life, man, we start understanding, that, man, without them things, I wouldn't be me. So in my 20s, I wouldn't think that.
Again, I'm going back to, in order to get to that point, the finish line, you have to go through it. So I'm actually,
like I had to go through getting shot. I had to go through, maybe,
look at I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna step away. I'm gonna come back to you, Charles. I'm gonna come back to you because you go. and I understand it's a good question. I got put one and tally one up for myself.
You got one.
There you go. And the Joker said just one. Toussaint, past or present, you're on the examination table. What are 3 things? And I'm asking for 3 things, and it's very. Maybe I should just ask for one, because everybody is stumbling on this. I'm surprised because all y'all are so intellectual, man. I'm surprised it's difficult as it is, But Tucson, what are the one things, past or present, that you will have removed from yourself while on that examination table?
Well, the thing, well, so what we have enough. What I'm trying to think about, Raheem, are you trying to do something physical, or mental, or emotional, or part of my character?
All included. I just said three things. You tell me what those three things are.
Well, first of all, I'd have to remove my lack of patience for people. Some of it. Because I have absolutely no patience. Along the way, I had no patience. When I told, here's the thing, I said, okay, that's one. The other one, you said add or remove?
No, remove.
Just remove.
Yes.
Okay. Remove shyness.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one is remove, I don't know if that's the same thing, but remove the lack of confidence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's three.
I think that shyness and that lack of confidence could be the same. Could be balled.
Okay.
They could be balled together.
So remove my desire, the pleasure of seeing eye candy.
Okay, I was gonna say, man, I think I might be scared to hear let you complete that one, bro. You some whoo,
them Georgia peaches.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. You heard that right. You see that, Charles? You already know. I'm back at that again. Because boy, I tell you what, if I never would have seen the Georgia peaches, I probably would have had
Leonard, but Leonard, help
anyway,
Leonard, help your brother.
As long as he telling the truth.
He going back like
Ibrahim. I just had a moment.
Truth set you free.
That must be Ibrahim, brother. That must be Ibrahim, brother, right there. They're having a moment. Rico, they having a moment. He's having an absolute moment. Let me go to Badger. Badger, what do you say to that? What would be the three things on the examination table, past or present, that you would like to have removed from yourself?
I'm sitting here thinking while you're talking, and I'm like, I can't really think of anything. I mean, if I absolutely have to say something, that would be how long it took me to learn the lies I was taught as a kid. But in essence, everything of my past has made me who I am today and how I interact in the present.
Okay, but see, that's taking us to the finish line. We before the finish line, during the process, because in order to get to the finish line, you have to go through the process. So I'm saying during the process of this thing called life, what are some of the things that you would like to have had removed? Three things before you got to the finish line.
So I guess the reason it's hard for me to answer that is I was taught many years ago a tool called introspection to work on my inner self and come to an understanding of what being responsible for yourself and to others are, and to accept everything of your past, no matter if it was good or bad. So it's to try for me to answer in a way of to take away something of my past would take away from who I am.
Yeah,
so it's
but
really
again,
hard for me to answer that.
Again,
if you're
that's
talking hypothetical,
no. Well, again, you speaking on the finish line, but in order to get to the finish line, as I said earlier, you have to go through the transition. And if you're going through the transition during that point in time in your life, what would you have like to remove? Let me keep this thing moving. I want to go right now to Mary.
Could you ask that in a different way?
Say it again.
The way you're explaining and the way you're asking doesn't make sense to me.
It does. It does. To me.
Can I answer it? I got three. Real easy ones.
Oh, VP, go ahead, brother.
I don't know how this is not So if I could take away 3 things from me from the past or present, be 1, my lack of faith at a young age. Somebody had told me that I wasn't good enough to be a part of this church, and I took that all the way up to 30 years old. So my faith in God, my faith in people, my faith in everything was moved around because I was told a certain, or I had so much love for this one individual that it derailed me. I would take nicotine out of me. I would have never done it. If I could take that away, I would have. Nicotine is one thing that from my past into my present is one thing that if I could remove it from me, that would be gone. My doubt in myself and confidence. If I had known who I would be today at the age of 39, where I was at 18, I wouldn't have doubted myself the way I did through my military career, my first marriage, and into the one I have now, where I lacked my own individual self-knowledge or self-worth because of the doubt that I thought I was giving the world. So if I could eliminate those 3 things, it'd be my lack of faith, the nicotine I've had, and the doubt that I put in my life.
Wow. I'm at the cash app you something, man. You gave me 3. You the first one to give me 3. I'm at the cash app you something. Tucson gave me 3 too. Okay.
Tucson gave you 3. Cash
Yeah,
out.
I gave you
like
that, man.
I need cash out.
4 because you ain't like his third.
Oh, I ain't like his third.
Yeah, you said 2 his was the same. He gave you a bonus.
Well, you ain't gave me none. Give me your 3.
I need. Ooh.
Give me your.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, you ain't gave me none.
Why you gotta do
that? Hit the mute button for me.
Get him, man. Get him. We need a program director. He's slipping.
Lord, here we go. Now, here we go assigning positions. Ain't that something? What is really going on around? Go ahead, Mary. Exactly. Give me your 3, Mary.
I agree with Toya.
What's that?
I wouldn't. I mean, I've been here for 24 years, so it's not much I've done, and I haven't done what most 20-year-olds do. So I don't party, don't drink, don't smoke. I don't have regrets. I mean, probably wouldn't join the military, but that's about it. I don't do anything. I don't like leaving my house.
You live, baby. You live. You live your life. I'm living my best life.
Now you gotta let me finish.
Now, hold on now. You
gotta let me finish here.
Your octaves went up a little bit now.
I got closer to the microphone.
Oh, okay. Okay. Go ahead.
I don't know. I wouldn't change anything. I don't go nowhere. I don't do anything.
That's good. And see, Tucson done hung up. I see VP was the only one to give me 3, and Tucson hung up on me. Tucson called back. I apologize, brother. I ain't forget about you.
You did him dirty.
You did him dirty. Dirty. Leonard, talk to me, brother. Give me 3.
Well, I can't say there's some things that I would change, but I know there's one thing that I wish I would have done. I wish I would have focused on money more. I'm just, a lot of people have all these issues and all that. No, I'm just a lot like Mary. I've done everything I wanted to do. So, I mean, if I felt like doing something right now, I'd go do it. So it's not a big deal. I don't have to sit back and remember when or whatever, because what's most important to me is right now. I don't sit around thinking about the past as much personal, because I could have done worse. I could have done worse. But I'm just average. I wish I wasn't so comfortable being average.
Wow.
And you know what, Raheem? I think because, see, we kind of, on this platform, we're at a place of gratitude now.
Yes.
So we look through different lenses. So if you would have asked us probably 10 years ago when we were in the world, you know what I'm saying? Mary may be young, but still she's kind of more reserved. You understand? And still coming from a place of gratitude now. So I think that with all we know what we escaped and we understand now, you know what I'm saying? It makes us who it is. It's hard at this point in our lives to say what we would take out because we understand how much it means to us. You know what I'm saying? But again, I believe if you'd have asked us this 20 years ago when we were in our 20s, 25, 28, we'd have been like, man, I would have never took this job. Man, I would have never dated this girl. Man, I would have never had these kids. Man, I never bought that car. You know what I'm saying? It would have been so many things that really would have been petty. that we would have been grumbling about what we wouldn't have done. And I just think, with this being a kind of Christian show, that's kind of we don't really put labels on it, but we kind of come to a place where we know there's a God, and we know we need to be grateful and have gratitude, because it could be worse. I think it's hard to answer that question, but like you said, if you go up now the other way and say, what 3 things that would you have changed or would you do differently? Now we probably got some answers, because I'm with Leonard. I wish I would have been more focused financially? Heck yes. Do I wish that I really would have married that one guy? Heck yes. You know what I'm saying? Do I wish I would have not beat that one in the head? Probably just wish I wouldn't have dated him, but I don't regret it. You know what I'm saying? And being honest, I was molested at 9, right? I don't regret that anymore. I might have 20 years ago, but it made me have a certain kind of compassion, and it's an ingredient to me that makes me, that after God dealing with me, I would never change that, because you just don't know how intricate the bad things that happen in your life, the things that make you the diamond in the gem that you are, how that'll change everything. You know what I'm saying? So I think you got to flip that question around for us and ask some worldly people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That they ain't got no gratitude. What would they change? Because we got some gratitude over here. We know things is good.
Exactly. I'm trying to see that I get to everybody. Monique, did I come to you with that question?
I think for myself, being on the examination table, I would say public speaking. That's something that I always had an issue with. And, it hindered me, and, still kind of hindered me, having that confidence to, public speak. And even when I was in the military, when you had to go in front of the board, even that was traumatizing. So that's one of the things that, I'm still struggling with. And
Okay.
And still working on it.
Yeah.
As well too. But I think that's probably the main thing, and confidence. And I think probably a lot of that ties in to it as well.
Okay, good deal. Rico, what do you say to that, brother? What would be the 3 things you would remove, past or present?
Yeah, it would be what she just said, and something Leonard said too, because I had got comfortable with being average. I was like, it's easy, and I don't have to try any harder. And then I had to think about what made me stop having that effort and that drive, and it was hopelessness. I wish I could take away that feeling that I was thrown away and nobody cared when I was 11 years old. That haunted me every night when I thought about the fact that my mama was living here, my daddy was living there, and I was living in a different place, and I was just having to wonder what was going on with my little brothers and what I was missing out on. Why? Once again, that question: why ain't I living with my mom and my daddy? Why she choose my stepdad over me? So I wish I would have not taken that or made that make me lose confidence, because I started looking at myself as less than, even with people that I knew, not trying to be arrogant or overconfident, but people that I knew I was more accomplished than. So that lack of confidence actually left me in a situation where more people were more confident in me than I was in myself.
Wow.
And then when I would actually do some of these things and accomplish the goal, they'd be like, see, I knew you could do it. And I'd be like, yeah, I knew I could do it too, but it don't mean nothing to me. So I don't get too excited. Like right now, I get compliments, I get flattered. It don't mean nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? Because words ain't nothing but sound to come out of your mouth. So I wish I could take that out that I had. I wish I could take out the levels of extreme that were in me, because if you treat me good, I treat you better. If you treat me bad, I treat you worse. I love hard and I hate harder. But I know at the same time, those extremes have put me in some very bad situations that I'm going to put the filth on. So I wish, I could take that out of me, that level of extremity that I have, that lack of confidence, And also, it was one more that I was thinking of. I think more or less that vengeful mind, the vengeful side of me. I'll take that back, because sometimes you need to have that aggression and that violence in you to defeat an enemy that this is aggressive or violence. But I hate that I started indulging in a lot of these man-made vices, like what BP was saying, and that I was so insensitive and objectified women that I treated sex like it was just an act, and I didn't really I didn't cherish it the way that it should have been done. I didn't respect it the way that it should have been done, and it led me to hurt a lot of women. It led me to it led me to just misuse my body and theirs. It made me use women. It made me play with their emotions. And at the same time, my conscience is better than that. But man, it was an ego thing. Like I said, I lost hope, so I sort of found my worth in conquering women.
Was that a compensation? Was that a way of compensating for that loss that you said that you felt? I'll leave it right there. Was that a way of compensating?
It was a way of compensating for a lot of things. It was just more. It was more than the loss of not being around my parents, but just for the fact of accomplishment. Not only just conquering that woman, but also being able to go back and smile in the mirror and be like, yeah, man, she gonna always remember you. And that was a goal of mine. I really had a goal to make sure that I could sleep with as many women as I could. And to make them remember me 20 or 30 years from now, that they could remember who I was and what I did to them.
Wow.
I was overstitched. And that's how I was going to get my that's how I was going to actually reap my reward. That's how I was going to get my confidence out. That's how I was making myself feel better by conquering women. At least I could get a woman.
Wow. Mia, you had a question? Okay. Go ahead.
So am I still yelling?
No.
I
want you to talk right there.
Okay. I wanted to flip it.
Go ahead.
That's it. I just wanted to flip the question.
Okay. What's the question?
Like, what 3 things would you add?
Huh?
I want to flip it.
And you want to ask me?
Well, you didn't answer the other question.
I'm the question asker.
I answered mine on my show.
I'm the question asker.
I feel like I'm yelling.
No, you're not yelling. They could hear you because you were talking low earlier. They couldn't hear you. But moving on, let's Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, just listening, because most of mine is health and wealth. Those are the things that I'm more focused on each and every day. I'm a very real person, very real, and so I don't rely on things that other people do for confirmation. Like I say, I play just as well by myself as I do with others. So it's different for me, and I just don't get caught up in a lot of things. Not like with Mary. Mary say she ain't done nothing or really, this, that, and the other. Well, that's like sort of, I hear people talking. I'm like, you know what? I don't care how bad my situation is. I'm just glad I survived.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm just so glad I'm here today. That's really all I'm focusing on. It's so and the God in it is so great, because there are some things I simply don't remember, and that's the blessing to me.
Leonard,
I don't have to worry about a lot of stuff like that.
Were you that drunk, brother? You don't remember?
Oh yeah, there I would love to see Paris and Spain and Italy sober.
But you were there.
Exactly. Oh yeah, I remember being there. But I always tell my wife, man, I would love to go back sober. Because I partied all the time. I mean, I was just about having a good time. I didn't care if I ain't had nothing, as long as I was having a good time. So, that was very free for me. Even in the military, people couldn't understand it,
make me mad why they had to have this.
So I'm that dude that just, I just walk off, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So, I focus a lot on behavior and my behavior and keeping that in check. That's why I don't be having time really to get so involved with feelings of doubt and all that, because I'm always working against that. Even right now, at this very moment, don't go to the dark place. Always, don't give in to the pain. Don't do this. Try to maintain. I'm always focused on my behavior, because like my wife say, sometimes I'm doing a great imitation of being an adult. But really, sometimes I'm very detached from the whole matter. Really.
Wow. Curtis? The mute button right there, Curtis.
What's up? Why you got me muted?
I don't have you muted. You muted yourself. What's on your heart, brother?
No, I'm just listening to everybody. I'm waiting for you to ask me the question. What you mean? What's going on?
No, we still talking about the same thing, man. The three things that you would change, and why would you change them? What impact would it make on your life if you could change those three things, or the thing that you said?
The three things I would change if I was on a table is I would open me up and add a lot more confidence. Starting when I hit 13. I ain't toot my horn, but I was the truth when I was 13. You know what I mean? And because I lacked confidence, and because of the hood I came from, I didn't believe I could achieve those things. So I didn't forge forward like I was supposed to. So I would cut me open, put in more confidence. 2, I would remove my younger desire to be involved with women. Period. I would put in me my virginity, and I would hold on to my virginity for as long as I possibly could until I had a greater understanding of building with a woman. And then last but not least, I would take out a tad bit of my compassion for people. Just a tad bit. I wouldn't take it all out, but I would take out a tad bit of my compassion.
What would be a tad?
Just a little bit. You know what I mean? Like.
Do you feel as though sometimes people take advantage of you because of your kindness?
Yeah, they do. They do. That's not even if I feel as though they do. They do. They do. And especially, I guess if I could have seen that the world was going to go here, then I would have been better prepared for the world for which we exist in now. Because I hate the fact that I'm 50 and I have to learn lessons that I was already taught, because the lessons that I was taught in all reality just don't apply to today's world. You see what I'm saying? We live in a world. Everybody on this panel, the one thing that I love about this panel and this show is that every single person on here, be it if I agree with them or if I don't, have a certain level of civility to their ideology and their concepts, their beliefs, their values, their morals. There's a certain level of civility to that. But we are in a world, we are a civilized group existing in the world of uncivil people. So if I could remove just a tad bit of that compassion, I think it would help me better deal with the uncivilized human being. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I won't have compassion for you if you done pushed me to the point that I gotta take these knuckles and wrap them up in a sandwich. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You know, the one thing that always sticks with me is I remember there used to be this I don't want to say a junkie, but there used to be this guy. He was sick, and he was almost like my right hand man when I was in the street. And he used to tell me all the time, Kurt, sometimes a man gotta get what his hand called for. Mm-hmm. So if his hand called for you to straighten him out, then that's what you gotta do. But I never was one to enjoy hurting people. That's why I got out the game, because I didn't enjoy hurting people. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm at with it, bro. I didn't mean to get so serious at such a late time in the hour, but that's where I'm at with it, bro. And I spend a lot of time in my house crying, man, because I see, I live, and I work in this world, and this shit got me tearing up, man. Like, it's sad what we got going on right now, man. It's sad. It's unbelievable. It's unacceptable, and it meets no measure of moral morality, moral value, moral norms, and street code. Street code ain't even applied no more. So that's where I'm at with it, bro. Damn, you got me tearing up, man.
It's okay,
Poochie,
bro.
Raheem. Tell you like my grandma used to say, Poochie.
It's okay, brother. It's okay. That just shows a maturity, brother. That's all that is, man. That's all that is. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning? And I appreciate you sharing, brother. I really do. Cassandra, good morning. I asking a question, and how you doing this morning? We're asking a question. Examination table. Cassandra, we're putting you on the examination table, and past or present, they have to remove three things. Not at your finish line, but as you're going through the process of this thing called life, you have to remove three things that's undesirable for you in your life. What would those three things be?
You said past and present?
Yes.
Okay. I would have wanted to take out anger. A lot of the anger that I had from being, abused so much, so I would definitely want to remove that. I would want to remove, this may sound crazy, but I would want to remove the same thing Kurt said, some of my compassion, because it's hurt me over the years because of the way I love people, and people might think it's crazy, but you can be over compassionate. You really can, and it will do so much damage because people will hurt you. Yes. I mean, you trying to help them, and people will have you. I'm like Kurt. I cried many days. I cried because of what people have done, even though I'm trying to help them. It's really painful. And the third thing, okay, so my anger, some of the compassion, not all. And my decisions when it came to love.
Wow.
Yeah. I've made some bad decisions when it came to love. So those would be my three things.
Okay. Good deal. Toya with a T, talk to me, sis.
Yeah, hey, what can I say? Everybody has different ways of viewing their lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some people have a hard time identifying with just normal things that happen in life. You know what I'm saying? And some people don't. You know what I'm saying? Some people might feel like Rico made a comment and he said, I wish I took away the feeling of feeling like I was thrown away. And then I thought about the child that actually did get thrown away and how they feel. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's all about perception. It just makes me think about how all of us got different things, and the devil uses whatever he can do to try to make us feel as if it made us less valuable by what we've been through or what we've developed along the way. And at the end of the day, that's not the truth. You know what I'm saying? Every one of us, with all of our differences, are just as valuable as the other. And when I tell you that number, man don't even have a number that can replace the value of each one of us. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, as I listen to the differences, it's like, that's what the devil uses to try to make it seem like we're not enough. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, no matter what we've been through, it's always enough. And God uses those things perfectly and in time. Moses is in his anger. He probably wish he could take his away too, even killing the man that he killed. But it was with a purpose. You understand what I'm saying? David and the things he had done and setting his homeboy up and having a child. You understand what I'm saying? There are so many things that sometimes we get ourselves into in life that we wish we can take away. But at the end of the day, as long as you cover it, you got to go to the glory of God in some kind of way.
That's good. That's good. Mary, what's on your heart?
I don't have nothing. I said my 3.
You good? Willa? Willa, are you able to speak, Willa?
Yeah, Raheem. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Okay, what's on your heart?
You know, I was thinking about that question, and you know, there are some things that I would probably want to improve, and I would say my lack of being like they were saying being kind, but it made you weak. Because like I said, at 16, I had a nervous breakdown because I wouldn't talk. I would always keep what people said, and I held it in, and it made me weak. And it made me so weak that I was destroying myself. So that's something that I wish I would have been able to take out, you know, when I was younger. And I've been a lot stronger and wouldn't allow people to just run over me. So, yeah, I believe that's another thing I would have changed.
Good deal. Good deal. Badger, what's on your heart?
That tool of introspection. You know, if I was to hypothetically be able to change anything or take something away, it'd probably be my parents. The amount of trauma and negative teachings that came from them delayed a lot of things in my life. So, but to me, to let I've never understood asking a question like this, because it instead of like, it seems like that's a common thought process most people have. And for those of us that learn to be grateful for all of our lessons and experiences, because we acknowledge that that's what led us to where and who we are today, to be as strong as we are.
But Badger, not everyone's there.
I understand that.
Okay. And so
what
the question is actually geared to help people that's actually listen. Maybe the question is not for you. Maybe the question is not for you to answer this particular question, but the question is for the people that's actually listening.
On the show. Don't we suggest tools to solve those issues?
Okay.
That's all I'm doing.
Okay. Appreciate it. Leonard, what's on your heart?
I got a point to make. Go ahead.
Hold on. Go ahead, Rico, and I'll swing back around to Leonard. What's on your heart?
I noticed that opinion is sort of being displayed quite a bit, and it's just not to refer to Badger or what anybody else said, but you know, there's in this experience that we have to make sure we don't forget where we came from. You know, we have quotes and sayings that tell people always remember your history. If you don't, you're doomed to repeat it. So if you just happen to say, well, you know what, man, I don't regret nothing I did. I've grown, and that's in the past, and I don't see how y'all keep harping on the past. Well, some people that might have that opinion might have been a rapist or a murderer. How easy is it for that family of that person that was murdered or that person that was violated? The one that I'm gonna say, what would you call it? Not the perpetrator, but the victims of some of our actions. To hear us say, I don't regret nothing I did. What about some of the people that we may have hurt their feelings in our drunk state. You know, they say a drunk mind speak a sober tongue or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of you being inebriated or high, or whatever you was doing, you said something, and you hurt this person's feeling. They never forgot it. Maybe it was something that they was going through in their past, and it struck a deeper nerve than you realize. And you say, I never regret anything I did in my past, but somebody's still dealing with what you did to them in their past. That can be sort of arrogant. You know, I mean, so we always got to remember where we came from and who we are, because everything we did didn't just impact us. There's a good possibility it impacted other people. Mm-hmm. Imagine children hearing their parents say that their parents say, I don't regret nothing I did. But the children know that their parents was screwing out of both parents' legs, and they don't know who their daddy is. Mm-hmm. I don't regret nothing I did. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you know, we in this human experience, this thing called accountability, no matter how much you want to feel good or how much you want to speak positivity into existence, when it's time to address your life story or address the things that make you a human, we're not perfect. All of us have gone through some things that we try to change to make us better people. And to just say, well, you know what, I'm gonna leave that where it is. I don't know if that's really, I ain't gonna say unacceptable, but it really is indicative of how, you know, selfish some people can be. In my opinion, it's sort of selfish to be that way. Mm-hmm. Because if anything that I did to hurt anybody, you know what I'm saying, it's still impacting them, and I have the nerve to come back later on and say, I don't regret nothing I did, and they listening to me on this radio station. Mm-hmm. Forgive me.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. Leonard?
People say this, that, and there. Like I said, a personal story is a personal story. So usually a lot of times when, you know, I hear people talk about their personal stories, my story is just not that interesting. It wasn't that interesting to me. Why would it be that interesting to you? So, I mean, you know, that's my point of view of a lot of things. I've done them and moved on. They're over with. And I tell everybody, you know, when we talk about arrogance, pull my record. I don't bother people. Anybody who's ever even accused me of doing anything or whatever, that was just something that they chose to do. But I've never wanted to be a bad guy. I've always treated people with respect or what have you. If we fall out, it's because you're an a-hole. Because one, I don't even like the whole attachment thing. Mm-hmm. I guess that's part of the studying of Buddhism for me. I don't get attached that way, like other people get attached to things. Mm-hmm. So I don't have a reason. Like, say, if somebody say something awful about me, usually I'll just say, that's just their opinion. Oh, well. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, I don't have that. There's nothing in me that's going to care more about a situation, because situations change too rapidly. Like a person who just wants to argue all the time about everything, they'll find out they'll be arguing by themselves, because I simply do not care enough about certain things. Mm-hmm. And I think it has a lot to do with religious training, and also how I believe that obedience is better than sacrifice. I love what Miri said, because Miri is probably into being more obedient to religious concepts of being a decent person. So that's how she's chosen to lead her life. Mm-hmm. That's a blessing to be able to have that type of discipline.
That's right.
And so those are the things, man. Look, like I remember I used to laugh at Toya all the time, because she just, for some reason, gets so riled up, right? And Toya used to always say she gonna meet me in the parking lot. I can't, blah, 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 blah. Like, do this girl know I'll be sitting here waiting for her? I love her just the same. You know, I ain't got nothing wrong with her, but if she want a problem, we just have to work it out when she get here. But I'll be here. But now it was like 180-degree turn. And you know, her conversation and everything. It's just like you watch somebody overcome. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that what I thought was so valuable about her. So I wouldn't even go back and be harping on some bull about what she said this long ago. And I remember when you said, no, I'm just not that guy. But mm-hmm. I love what she says now, because it feeds life. Mm-hmm. You know, it's in how she does that. So I think that everybody should get better. I would hope that everybody would get better, trying to get better, reaching out to people that can help them be better. I won't ever change that when it comes to that.
Absolutely. Mary, something on your heart, sis?
I have a question.
You have a question?
I want to go to Toy first. I like her spunk.
What y'all got? Y'all got some kind of female thing going on, man? You and
Of
Toy?
course.
Yeah. Ain't asked nobody's no question.
Don't hate. Tell it.
Strong black women attract strong black women. It is what it is. It's like a magnet. That's right. You hear that cockiness and confidence? Here we go. Let's go. What's up?
Called confidence. Cocky and confidence is confidence. For example, it's called confidence.
That's right.
Go ahead.
It's kind of two questions. Well, no, it is two questions.
Oh Lord, now we get two questions. Now we got two questions.
Let's say someone does you wrong, but now they're gone. How do you apologize? How do you seek closure from a dead person? And what if you did someone wrong and you want to apologize? How do you apologize to them? They're gone.
You said they're gone?
Yes.
Dead.
Okay, so my father passed away, right? Mm-hmm. When I told my father I was going to the store in Camden, Georgia, and never came back. There were times I stole my father rent money. So trust me, I get where you're coming from. This is where I'm about to tear up, but I'm gonna hold my tears in.
Let them flow, sister. Let them flow. It's okay to cry. Curtis, he started the gate.
You are right. You have to be very careful what you do because the devil will trick you to do things. But when your daddy know you, he know that you didn't mean to do it. So it's just something about a father.
Come on.
Where they always know
that
you really didn't mean it.
Yes, Lord.
And that's what I rest on, right? Because I didn't get a chance to show him that I did go to college.
Come on.
I didn't get a chance to show him that the stuff that he taught me, I finally got it, right? But I believe the story of God enough to know that he is in heaven looking down. And he is in me and I'm in his blood, and that now I got it. And I believe in my heart that his spirit is here. And it bothers me that his flesh not here. And it bothers me I can't go back and, change things. I don't regret him because that was something he always taught me. If you do something, you be proud about what you do, even if it's wrong. And that I've always owned what I've done because I wanted to do it. But I just wish I had got a chance to do some of the right things. And that's what we take for granted when we be out here living, doing stuff that you know better than, and you do it. And if that person slip away before you can show them that you did get it, it was nothing but a thought. But the only thing I can do to make it better is keep on doing better because I can't change, you know what I'm saying, that I didn't get it. But I know he understands, and I know he know that, you know what I'm saying? It's real. And I believe that when a person dies in the spirit, not just my father, I just believe there's a special knowing that it don't even matter in that place. That doesn't even matter anymore. It's just a certain kind of knowing that's just beautiful, you know what I'm saying? And that's forgiven. So it just is what it is, just you got to repent, you got to move on, and you just got to try to do better and be better.
Yes, that's good. To God be the glory. Praise God. That's good. That's good.
Ooh, man, that was deep, man.
Yes,
I can't hold my tongue on this. Come to tell you something. This is sometimes it's hard for us to accept this, and it's hard for us to admit certain words apply. But to me, regret comes with a conscience. And there's nothing wrong with regretting some of the things you did in the past, because there's a lot of pain and sorrow. You know what I heard and I ain't trying to dispute Toya or nothing like that, but them tears I heard that just came out of nowhere, and she couldn't hold them back because of what she did to her daddy. I guarantee you, she wished she hadn't done that. And it hurt so bad till it hurt now.
Yes.
But sometimes we might want to deny that we regret it because it's something about that word, or somebody told us that word is bad. But when you got a conscience, you got to feel bad about some of the bad things you did. If you don't regret none of the bad things you did, then where is your conscience? Now, you might try to deny you regret it, but guess what them tears going to tell me? That really hurt that I did that.
Yes, come on.
And I wish I would have did something different, because now if I could, I would. And I don't have a chance to, whether they are dead or alive. Your conscience is really what's telling you that you know what, I wish I could have did something totally different. So, you know, I don't want people to feel like it's a negative thing to say that you regret some of the things you did in the past. Because like I said, some of the violations and some of the victims of some of these things that we did, they need to know that you regret it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get a chance to let them know you regret it, you might cry because they're gone.
Yes.
And you don't have an opportunity to make it up to them or to show them that this is not who you truly are.
Mm-hmm.
I regret having people believe that I'm a monster or that I was just so low down to just treat them like a piece of meat.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I look at these women that I know they really like me, and I played on the fact that they like me, and I just got what I wanted and didn't even say bye. It's hard for me to look at them in the face now because that was so low down and disrespectful to who they are as a person. Mm-hmm. My conscience still bothers me, and I wish I had done something to do it. There's nothing wrong with regret. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a religious person. I ain't the smartest person, but I know I do feel bad about some of the things that I did that was wrong, and to say that I don't regret it, I believe my actions will show a lot differently when that shame or when that pain starts rearing up about some of the things that I did in the past.
My thing is, my thing is this right here. It's not necessarily and can't nobody say the right or wrong thing. That's just for the individual person. Right, wrong, whatever it is. My thing is, it shows that you're human, to the fact that you can go back and evaluate yourself in life and be able to admit. Go ahead, Toya.
Raheem, the question was on the examination table, not what did we regret.
Yeah, I know it's shifted. Yeah.
So we weren't talking about regrets. We were talking about what we would remove. And again, just because it sounds the way to you, I don't regret coming to Georgia. Would I would change how I have done it?
Yeah.
Yes. But I would have never done it if it was any differently. You understand what I'm saying? I wouldn't have never done it. And in doing that, I've learned much. You understand what I'm saying? So was it wrong? Yes. But I wouldn't have done it willingly. It had to happen the way it did. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the part that we're talking about. But we wasn't talking about regrets. You said, what would we remove?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
To me, that's a difference.
It is a difference. But my thing is, I also love what happened because it opened up a lot. When we brought in the conversation about regret, it opened up a lot as well. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson has something on his heart. I saw his hand over there. What's on your heart, brother?
Now I was listening to Rico, and it's good to, even if you see something that you want to remove because of one reason or the other, and even if it includes regret, that's not a bad thing, because you see your errors in life or discrepancies. We all got some. But if you walk around here like you don't have nothing wrong with you, that's an imperfect person.
Yes.
That's just me.
Yeah.
If you think that there is absolutely nothing wrong with you, something is terribly wrong with you. I say that because here's a guy that we all listen to in the entity of Christianity. We love Paul and what he said to the churches. We love him. But that dude had turned completely around in his mindset. He thought he was doing God a favor till he found out he wasn't doing God a favor. He was kicking against the prick.
Yep.
And when he did get it, he said, you know what? I asked the Lord 3 times to remove this thorn out of my flesh. So he saw something wrong. He's a good guy that met Christ himself. His mission had been changed. His purpose has been changed. He was just as dedicated to the former than he was the latter.
Yeah.
Okay. Just as dedicated. Both times he thought that he was on God's side. Might not have been Jesus' side, but he knew he was on God's side. And when he thought he was on God's side, excluding Jesus. If you talked about Jesus, he will take you bound and chained. And he had a letter to back him up. But when he finally got it, here's this guy that has totally had a change of heart mindset by the renewing of his mind. He still found out that he had something wrong. So he asked God, take it away. But sometimes the things that are wrong with us keep us humble. Ain't nothing wrong with regretting it.
Yeah, that's good.
Sometimes God tells us, you keep that. Otherwise, you probably get beside yourself.
Good deal. Good deal. Cassandra? Cassandra, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's on your heart, sis?
Y'all hitting and cutting deep this morning. That's all I can say. Y'all cutting deep, but it's good because we do need to reflect, you know, on our life and, you know, the mistakes, the things we would change, you know what I'm saying. I just wanted to say this because when we were talking, when some people were talking, I thought about, we need to acknowledge, like if somebody is gone, and you can't apologize, but the flip to that, there's a flip to that. We have to, what about the people that violated us and damaged us, but they're gone now and there is going to be no apology. A lot of people live with that hurt. I deal with people and talk to people every day that somebody did something to them, but they're gone now. So we got to think about that. How do you deal with that? The same way that you deal with when you have violated somebody. You got to forgive that person, even though, and literally I wrote a letter to the person. I wrote a letter saying, I forgive you, because I didn't want to hold that anymore because the pain was so great. So it's a way for us to look at what we may have done, but also what may have been done to us that damaged us and made us the way we are. And a lot, my anger came from being sexually abused as a kid, 4 to 12 years old by a preacher, being raped twice, being in a domestic violence marriage where I was almost killed. Listen, anger, man. I mean, it's like you can't fight against some of that stuff, but you can forgive yourself and say, hey, I forgive the person and I forgive myself. So it's a lot to it, you know.
It's a lot. It really is.
But thank you for the, thank you for the topic, man, because it's really serious. A lot of people are still experiencing pain from things that people did. I don't care how saved you are. You can be deep saved, whatever. But there are times when things are still hurting.
Hey, to God be the glory. To God be the glory. VP, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm listening to everybody. It went me bubbling and stumbling in with my 3. I guess I didn't see it going this way, but I'm grateful for all the testimonies. I think I had the same lesson Tucson said a long time ago before we got this deep with the eyes thing, and it was always laid in my heart that God always put out a bed of flowers. Ain't nothing wrong with looking. You just don't need to go picking. So, your sin is only when you have to go yearning for it and want it too long. But going back to what I have, my thing that I found that I really, and the word regret came out because I guess that is more what if you pinpointed it down to it, if you're going to remove something that really put you on a path that wasn't intended for you, then I would say, losing that faith between 18 and 31 and meeting Friday, and she put me back into a path to get reconnected with God and get a faith underneath that. Because if I hadn't have done that, then there's no telling where I would be today.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of us want to put on, the verse, and Jesus said that, you can't put new wine in old wine skin because of the bust.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us with this question, and it really is showing that we want to hold on to that old wine skin, but want that new life poured in it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you open up and really let go of what's inside of those things that you may think are holding you back, but God and when you really get the spirit in you needs you to let go of, then you understand how that new wineskin fits around you. And today is a blessing, and I always learn something from y'all on a reflection of how the world and the word works at the same time. So bless you again, DKN.
Hey, to God be the glory, brother. To God be the glory. Monique, what's on your heart, sis?
Just listening to everybody, I think, to add to my examination table, I think having an issue with saying no.
Mm-hmm.
To a lot of different things. Yeah. I'm working on that. Just being able to say no and not being, manipulated or controlled. Well, more so manipulation, and felt compelled to say yes.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good.
All the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's good. Willa, anything on your heart, sis?
No, Raheem, I'm just at all right now. I'm good.
Ain't God good? Any good, Willa? Any good, Willa? And Willa didn't. And Willa, and Willa didn't say a word. Willa didn't say a word. Cut it out, Leonard. Willa.
Raheem.
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead. You were talking to Willa.
No, I asked Willa. I said, "Ain't God good?" And she got real quiet on me. I said, "Oh Lord, I'm starting to worry over here."
Yes, they is.
Oh, she's
Monique hit something that has been huge with me, and even at 63 right now, I still have a problem with that, and that is saying no. And even when I'm exhausted, you know what I'm saying? We gotta. I'm glad she mentioned we gotta look at these types of things. I can be exhausted. I can be sick. I can have a whole bunch of other stuff going on. But when someone calls me and says, "Hey, I need you to do," man, do you talk about battle within myself to say no? Just recently, now I've been in ministry almost 40 years. Just recently have I learned to say I can't do it. I just can't. You know what I'm saying? And you have to find a way to tell people, and God will show you how to do it without, they may even get mad, but we have to protect ourselves. Self-care is essential for especially those of us that are counseling people. Even like Rico say, people call and talk to him. You got to still protect yourself when you're talking to people, and because energy, you lose energy. Every time you minister to people from your heart, y'all, and I know those that here that do counseling or leadership, all of that. When you talking to people, even Toya, when she's talking to her family members or her co-workers, that's energy that you're putting out. So you have to be careful how you put out your energy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, I'm looking at the clock. It's 10:01, time for us to get out of here for today. Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
Oh, man, that was deep what she just said, man.
Yes, sir.
That was deep. It's going to be hard for me to just get out this easy, man, because I'm sort of torn. Because I agree with her wholeheartedly about that giving out the energy thing. And, man, I mean, her and Curtis both said that they wish they could lose a tad bit of their compassion. And I wanted to say the same thing so many times. I said, man, I wish I didn't care so much. I wish I wasn't so concerned. I wish I wasn't so empathetic, because to be honest with you, sometimes what you listen to from other people or knowing what other people go through can traumatize you if you care enough. You know, you look at the news and see what's going on around the world, and if you ain't careful, you'll get traumatized. And so I wish I could. And sometimes I'll say, you know what, I just ain't fixing to care no more. But you know what end up still happening? I end up still caring and being concerned. I still end up having compassion when I tell myself I'm going to stop. So it's so hard, man. I'm torn. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter how much you want to try, you know, the genuine side of you won't allow you to say, you know what, I ain't got time to listen to your problem today. I got my own. And I'll tell myself, you know, as soon as they call, I'm going to tell them, I ain't got time to hear today. But instead of me telling them that, I'll go ahead and give them a response to try to, you know what I'm saying, help them with their issue. So, man, I'm torn, man. But I think this was a deep conversation.
Yes, sir.
I had to go do some deep self-analyzing myself. You know, this extreme thing that I go through, I got a problem with violence. And no matter how good my heart is, like I said, if you love me, I love you harder. But if you hate me, I hate you harder. And then that problem with the violence comes in. You know, sometimes you have to ask yourself why I act that way. So that's why I like the topic that you had, because you spoke about why and the things you would remove. And, you know, I had to ask myself, why am I so violent? And I had to find out why I was violent and then start working on it from that point, because I didn't know where that violence came from. So, man, congratulations. And thank you for having this topic today, man, because it was deep.
Yes, sir.
And very good, very important that we had it.
Exactly.
If you missed today's show and would like to see or hear the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal. And to God be the glory, man. To God absolutely be the glory. Anybody have anything they want to say before we get out of here? Real quick. If anybody got anything.
That's on my heart. Something set up my heart, and it's gonna be one time that people, Lord have mercy, thank you, Jesus. It is time that we as people figure out if we're gonna be Joseph's brothers or the brothers to the invalid man. It's time that we figure out which brothers are we going to be. We can't run around it. We can't shuck and jive with it. We can't put it on the back burner no more. It is time. For those that don't understand what I'm saying, read the story of Joseph and look at what his brothers did to him. And then read the story of the invalid man and look at what his brothers did for him. And it's time for us to decide which brothers do we want to be. Tucson, please make that your sermon this weekend.
Hey, Raheem.
I
was thinking about us as a whole learning to recognize evil. And in every effort that you have, seek to give God glory. And you'll be okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Raheem?
Yes, sir.
Y'all make sure y'all go vote next week. Some of y'all got runoffs next week in y'all areas. So if you got somebody that you voted for and they in a runoff, guess what? You don't get to use the same vote. You got to go back.
You say they got the runoffs?
Yes.
The runoffs?
Yes, the runoff elections for those people who did not quite clinch.
Don't you do it, Raheem.
And don't do no little funny voice or anything like that, Raheem.
Do it, Raheem. Don't you do it, Raheem.
Don't do it. Okay.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't even know where people talk like where you be imitating.
I'm just trying to say. Okay.
We do have runoffs that we have to go back to the polls.
Stop saying it, man. Stop saying it. Yeah, y'all make
leave
sure.
It up, Raheem. Just leave it at that, Raheem.
Okay.
That's right, Raheem.
I wanted to throw something in real quick.
Go ahead.
When talking about regret and things of that nature, as far as where I come from, it's not saying there is no regret.
Mm-hmm.
It's acknowledging and being aware enough to be able to work on those regrets or those issues or struggles or anger or things like that. Being aware of them, accepting them, being grateful for them, and working through it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's good. That's good. Anybody else have anything before we get out of here? Gonna be ready to go to Willow. Anybody else got anything, Mary? You good? Okay. Anybody else? Going once? Last call. Y'all know when they say that last call, you know it's about to be over. Oh, y'all don't know nothing about that. Y'all church folks, y'all don't know nothing about no last call. Willa.
Hey, Raheem. Come on, Raheem. Let's go.
What, you ready, Willa?
I am so ready.
Well, let's go, Willa.
So ready, Raheem.
Let's go.
Lord.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Father God in heaven. Lord, we thank you for showing up this morning, Lord. Father, I felt your presence, Lord. You keep your word, Lord. You say that where there are two or more gathered in your name, that you were in the midst. And Father, I believe in the name of Jesus that you were there this morning, Lord. Father, I believe your word when you said that you gave us all a mustard seed of faith. You gave us a mustard seed of faith that we'll be able to move the mountains that are in our lives. And Father, I believe that it was part of your work this morning, Lord. Father, I believe you did it. I believe you showed up and you showed out. I thank you, Lord, for the power that you've given each and every last one. Keep strengthening each and every last one on this line, watching their hearts, protecting them, Lord. Father, I thank you so much for bringing us together, loving on one another, keeping one another together. Lord, I thank you. In spite of our disagreements, in spite of us not being able to be on one accord with what we agree on, Father, we still love each other because of you. That unconditional love. Father, I thank you. I thank you, Lord, for what you do in our lives. I thank you for the Holy Spirit, Lord. I thank you each and every day. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen, amen, amen. I thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus, for what you do. Thank you, Lord. Amen, amen, amen. Thank you, Lord.
I wasn't gonna say a word till she got. I wasn't gonna say a word. The floor was totally hers right then. Cassandra, you there? Anything on your heart, Cassandra?
No. I'm. Yeah, that's it. I'm.
Okay. Monique, anything on your heart right now?
No.
Okay. Toussaint?
You good?
You good?
Yes, sir.
All right, good deal. We're going to get on out of here. I want to thank everybody for joining us. More than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:10. You're about to exit the Morning Glow, but before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Love you. And I will see you Monday morning. If the Lord say the same. Have a great weekend. Take care.